Redmond again with the carry. On his feet! Touchdown, Joe Redmond! Redmond with the touchdown at the 1:19 mark of the fourth quarter, and Paulsboro back in the lead at 20-15.
As the 1987 football season drew to a close, the Thundering Herd of Woodbury was everybody's pick to add the South Jersey Group 1 championship to the Colonial Conference title they had won by blitzing through 9 opponents on the way to what looked like was going to be a perfect season. But Joey Redmond of Paulsboro ended that dream when, with 1 minute and 19 seconds left in the opening playoff game, he scored to put the finishing touches on a 20-15 Paulsboro upset of Woodbury. Today, the Herd gets their shot at revenge. Larry Ginsburg's Woodbury squad is led by everybody's all-star pick, Jimmer Bundy. The 6-foot, 250-pound fullback scored 21 times last year and brings the Herd into today's game 2-0. At Paulsboro, Glenn Howard brings his 8-3 club from a year ago to Woodbury today, also with a 2-0 record. Howard has molded his club around a veteran line, anchored by seniors Pat McGinn, Joe Benny, Gus Bucko, and John Ferrilli. But at Paulsboro, it always seems to be speedy backs. And this year, that means Keenan Victor, a junior, has opened this year impressively. And of course, veteran Billy Kidd is back and ready. Nearly always a great game in the past. Today's game could be a classic. Channel 5 Store Communications presents Colonial Conference Football. The Red Raiders of Paulsboro High School visit the Thundering Herd of Woodbury High School. Today's game is sponsored by the Gloucester County Times. The Times bringing the best in sports coverage of both high school and college football. And by McDonald's Restaurant of Woodbury Heights and Paulsboro. For good times and great taste, it's McDonald's. And by Professional Pulmonary Service in Woodbury, providing Gloucester County with the best in home health care equipment. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Linder here at Woodbury, and excitement's in the air today. You can sense it with the fans, the players as they come out, and most notably with the coaches. And our Bob Shryock is with head coach Larry Ginsburg of Woodbury now for a preview. Bob?
Thanks, Mike. Larry, there was a lot of talk before the season about Paulsboro in some difficulty, perhaps. They had trouble scoring touchdowns in the preseason, but that was a preseason. They've gotten off to a good start, as has you, and of course, it looks like another fine Paulsboro football team you have to beat today.
They're an excellent football team, Bob. They're very strong up front, speed in the backfield, quarterback that can throw the ball, and kids that can catch the ball. I don't know what else you can.
That sounds like a typical Paulsboro team to me.
That's a typical Paulsboro team, and they swarm on defense, and they're a good football team.
We talked just before we went on the air. You said the word war. You expect the war today?
Well, I think our kids seem very anxious. I'm sure their kids are very anxious. It's always a hard-fought ball game, and we've had 2 great practices last Thursday and Friday. I don't know, you never know the outcome of the game, what's going to happen on Saturday, but the kids are well prepared for this game and excited about the game. I'm looking forward to it. I feel good about it.
People have been keying on Bundy in your first 2 games. He hasn't had typical Bundy statistics. Is he about ready to break loose, you think?
Well, if they want to take Jimmer away, I mean, in our offense, they can bring everybody down on him. But we have other kids that can do things. This week, our passing games looked real good in practice. I think we're going to open up a little bit this week, Bob.
Okay, Larry, what is the one thing you feel you have to do to beat Paulsboro today?
Well, we can't hurt ourselves. I think we're our own worst enemy at times. If we can go without hurting ourselves, fumbling the ball away, throwing interceptions, I think it'll be a close ball game.
Okay, Larry, thanks. Good luck.
Thanks, Bob. Of course, sounds like Ginsburg and club is ready. To be ready, they're going to have to meet a tough club from Paulsboro, and of course that team is led by head coach Glenn Howard. Let's see what Howard thinks about today's game with Bob Shryock. Bob?
All right, Mike Glenn, Woodbury's first two opponents have been somewhat successful in shutting down Jimmer Bundy, but they haven't shut down Woodbury. What are the things you feel you have to do today to beat Woodbury?
Well, we just have to be disciplined in our option assignments, always have somebody on the dive, the quarterback in the pitch, and play well inside, and we think we'll hold up all right on defense if we can do those things.
Do you expect to be keying on Bundy as the first two Woodbury opponents did?
No, we're not going to key on anybody. We're just going to cover all three phases of the offense.
Glenn, in the preseason you had some difficulty, but that's all gone past now. You've gotten off to an excellent start with two fine football games. Was it just a case of finding the right mix?
No, not real. I think we played some good teams in the preseason. I think we had 3 real tough exhibition games, and we just got better as time went on.
Your quarterback is really progressing nicely, Mark Bay.
Yeah, he's doing a fine job. We're very pleased with the way he's been performing so far, and hopefully have a good day today.
I think one of the interesting aspects of your football team, Glenn, is the line. This is one of the biggest lines, also the most mobile that Paulsboro has had, certainly in my memory.
Yeah, the line's been working real hard in the weight room. All those guys grew up together since freshman ball, and they just moved right up through the program together, and, successful weight program, and, they're pretty dedicated guys, those linemen.
Okay, everybody healthy today, Glenn?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mike.
The teams are ready, the coach is ready, and Bob Schreck and I will be back after these words to take a close look at today's game. We'll be right back. Colonial Conference football from Woodbury High School. A gorgeous Saturday morning. Mike Linder along with Bob Schreck. And Bob, excitement reigns here, although it's but the third weekend of the football season. This could be a good one.
Well, Mike, they're both 2-0. That's one reason it's exciting. Woodbury coming off the Colonial Conference Championship season, during which time they went through the schedule undefeated regular season last year. They're off to a 2-0 start, although really pushed by Haddonfield last week before prevailing 7-6 Paulsboro. And we talked to Glenn Howard about that in the post-game show today. Really did not distinguish itself in the preseason, but has been very, very impressive in 2 victories so far. So these are arch rivals. They're starting 2-0. They are among those expected to win the Colonial this year. So all of the ingredients are there for a great game. And there's one of the reasons that Woodbury has had a tremendous last couple of years. Jimmer Bundy will do the kickoffs for Woodbury High.
Woodbury High School won the toss. They deferred the choice till second half, and Paulsboro therefore chose to receive.
And he will be kicking into the wind. The wind will be a factor today. Ball already falling off the kicking tee for Jimmer. We saw Paulsboro last week in a very impressive 36-8 victory over Gateway on Channel 5. Their offense really in gear behind Mark Bay, who's making great strides as a quarterback. A couple of pretty good offenses, so we look for some fireworks here today. Denby holding for Bundy, who kicks it to Billy Kidd. Kidd takes it on the 17-yard line. Excellent return man, but cannot find a whole lot of running room. Gets back to about the 31-yard line, where the Raiders will have it first down and 10.
Well, you saw the experience of Billy Kidd right there, Bobby. Did not just go wild right up the sideline or trying. Maybe if they had a return set to the other way, he just came up and picked the hole, got what he could get, and he put him in pretty good shape right at their own 31-yard line.
Mark Bay runs the offense. The backs behind him will be Keenan Victor and Bob Burnett, both of them off to outstanding starts. Wide receiver Billy Kidd split to the right. Now he's in motion, and Darren Bundy, to the left. Victor with the carry, gets to the outside, but he's not going anywhere here. Is dropped by Dave Roan.
Dave Roan, nice size for a defensive end who has some corner responsibilities also at 6'3", 190-pound junior. And they have a tough time here at Woodbury, like a lot of Group 1 schools, Bob. There's but 32 young men in uniform today, but when is the last time you saw the kind of size out of a group of but 32 kids in a Group 1 school that Woodbury has?
They have a big line, Mike, one of the biggest we've seen. 2-yard pickup for Victor, second down and 8 from the 33. Kidd again in motion. Bay on the option, pitches to Burnett, cutting back inside, and he doesn't gain anything. Excellent read by the Woodbury defense.
Yeah, Stefan Sager, number 79, is over there. to get the initial hit. He's one of those big ones, 5'10", 223 pounds. Both teams today, Bob, running a lot of the option action. That should help them defensively since they both watch it in practice as their offense works all week long, as we have a equipment timeout temporarily out there by the officials. But you're going to look for the speed to the outside in the option, and a lot of responsibilities falling on the quarterbacks. And it's been an early good season for Mark Bay, the quarterback from Paulsboro. He's a senior getting his first start. That's always tough to take a senior and have him out in the varsity ball for the first time as the starter. And also, when you put them into the option situation to have them carry that responsibility, there's about 3 different reads they have to make along the line and come up with the proper decision. Larry Ginsberg in his 12th season here at Woodbury, and he has really enjoyed his stay here, and I think the people of Woodbury have been quite happy with him.
Well, certainly coming off one of the best Woodbury seasons in many, many years. They got into the NJSIAA playoffs, and after beating this Paulsboro team in the regular season, lost to the Raiders here in that memorable Cole game. Bay back to throw, gets good protection. Guns it, has his man, and for first down yardage as Darren Bundy takes the pass from Bay, gets it to the 43, and Paulsboro has the first down of the football game.
Bundy, a senior, showing experience. That time he knew exactly where the first down marker was. That's what you want out of that end on that hook pattern. You get down and drive the halfback deep. It's exactly what happened. As soon as you see the defensive back commit and you've got first down territory, turn and wait for the ball to be delivered. It was delivered perfectly.
Paulsboro wants to control the football, keep it out of Bundy's hands. Paulsboro from the I formation. And Burnett tripped up, no gain. Penalty marker is thrown into the pile in the holding area.
And you hope you don't see much of that in a game between Paulsboro and Woodbury, one that people are really excited about. You don't want to see it spoiled by the officials, and of course they have to do their job, so it's the players who spoil it if it happens.
It is a holding call against the Red Raiders. Larry Purdy, the referee today, former University of Pennsylvania football star. And they'll mark this one off against Paulsboro. First penalty of the game.
Holding, offense, first down.
Got his mic fixed.
A little trouble early on, but he, being that Penn graduate, I'm sure has been able to straighten things out.
Ball back at the 33-yard line, 10-yard penalty. First down and 20 for the Red Raiders. 9 minutes, 30 seconds to play first period.
With the slot to the right side, Bob, it's a good time for a screen pass in this situation, and they should go towards that slot if they ran it.
Bay has Bundy wide open. Finally tripped up by Quincy Harmon, but Bay now 2 for 2. He's on target.
We are seeing experienced play here today, Bob. There's no question that the receiver was wide open, Bundy, but on the other hand, Harmon and the other defensive backs in that area recognized with that 15-yard penalty they could play off deep. So they allowed him to get back with to the line of scrimmage plus 1 yard, but they kept everything in front of him. They didn't want to get hurt by a bomb in that situation. So we've seen the good experience both ways already.
Second down and 9 after the 11-yard pickup. Bundy has 2 catches already, so 2 Bundys in this football game we're going to be seeing a lot of. Backs now split behind Bay, and Bay again with the option to the left side. Burnett, and he's going down, met by George Washington with some help on the far side of the field.
They are playing that option so well so far. The key to it, of course, is to do your own job. Each defensive player along the line has an assignment. One man has to go for that fullback coming in on the first dive fake and forget everybody else. The next assignment is the quarterback. Forget the pitch man, take the tackle on the quarterback, and then you've got the outside leverage man coming for the pitch. That's happened perfectly as Paulsboro's tried the option 3 times now.
3rd and 7 from the 46-yard line. Bay to throw. Fires it over the middle, but Forelli wasn't looking. A little miscommunication there. It's Bay's first incompletion, and Paulsboro will be forced to punt for the first time.
So the penalty is the key play in the opening series for Paulsboro, Bob, as it just stopped the early momentum they seem to have. They came out with that enthusiasm and found Woodbury maybe sitting just an instant that gave them the ability to get about 20 yards exactly on that drive as they went from their own 31 to, well, a little less than that.
Charles DeVault punting to either Eddie Walker or
sophomore speedster Quincy Harmon. Good snap for DeVault. Off the side of his foot. Trying to kick it away from Harmon. It'll go out of bounds, and Woodbury will begin its first possession from its own 33-yard line.
And when we take a look at the offense from Woodbury, we're going to see that wishbone offense, and it keeps everybody in tight, Bob. It's what should make the outside open, because no matter whether Coach Glenn Howard from Paulsboro all week long said, let's not look at Bundy, let's do our jobs. These are young men, and you can bet they're going to be looking at Bundy inside from tackle to tackle, and that means just an instant perhaps on the fake and the option to allow the halfbacks to get clear on the corner.
Demby and Harmon in the backfield along with Bundy. The quarterback for Woodbury High, Dwayne Stanton, and like Mark Bay, Stanton getting his first starting duty this year, and like Bay doing a very fine job for the Thundering Herd. Woodbury with its first play. Bundy with the carry. Still on his feet, gets to the outside. Boy, he is a load to bring down. We've seen that the last couple of seasons. Finally tackled by Keenan Victory, but Mike, that's a typical Bundy run. It looks like he stopped it. There he goes out of the pack.
You know, often in high school, Bob, particularly at the Group 1, Group 2 level, you'll see a large hunk, a big guy, who the coaches will say, let's put him in the backfield and just plow him in there. A lot of people early on thought that was the case with Bundy. But Bundy has not only the size, he's got the great ability and the great balance of the good running back.
16-yard pickup. He gets it again. Ball fumbled. Bundy may have lost a yard in the play. Woodbury fumbled the ball 4 times against Haddonfield last week, Mike, and Bundy 2 of them. So that's one problem that the Thundering Herd has been having, handling the football.
And they were lucky as a result to escape with that 1-point victory, 7-6 last weekend against Haddonfield. What a scare for the Herd early on.
Good Haddonfield team, though, Mike.
Panhouse over there has done a good job in his 4 seasons, and I think they believe in the job that Franny has done there.
Harmon in motion. Stanton on the option with the pitch to Harmon. Gets to the outside. He's got the speed, and he has good yardage down across the 45-yard line to about the 43.
The key on that play, Bob, is what I talked about. The concern about Bundy inside. 71, Joe Benny, the big defensive end for Paulsboro, looked for an instant at Bundy, although he was already wrapped up by somebody. His responsibility was the quarterback. It never happened, and it allowed them to get down the line and make the pitch. You've got to stick to your job.
10-yard gain, 3rd down and 1 for Woodbury. The ball at the 42-yard line. Bundy territory. But they option the other way. And a great defensive play in the corner. Outstanding play by Darren Bundy. Harmon does not get the first down, and now decision time for Larry Ginsburg. No gain.
Darren Bundy played it perfectly, Bob. Fought off the block, controlled his blocker till he saw the commitment with the pitch, and then as he tossed the blocker aside, came up to make the tackle.
Kind of a surprising call on 3rd and short, Mike, but they still, of course, they still have the hammer. 4th down and 1, and again, you would expect Bundy, with his 250-pound bulk and great speed, to get the call here. Bundy slides off one tackler. This is going to be close, Mike. I don't know if he has it.
Depends on the spot, the mark, obviously, and that's the toughest job for a linesman when there's a pile inside for him to judge that forward progress, come right in, forget where they throw him back to or where he lunges forward to after the whistle, but keep that foot on the mark.
I don't think he has it.
They'll bring it in. They've got to bring it in, though, and check it. And let's see. You say it's about, 8 inches shy?
No, I say 10 inches.
10 inches shy, huh? You know, Larry Purdy, the big guy now in the white hat, he'll
Yeah,
hold
Mike,
that
that's one of the key ingredients in this game we talked about in the pregame was the size of the Paulsboro line. It's an experienced line, it's a big line, and it's a good line.
Well, that's the big thing, though. Not only the good size, but the experience. Usually you don't see it. You're right. It is 9 inches. But the big play made by the Paulsboro defense to stop him. Usually you don't see a high school team that's building around the line. That's the case at Paulsboro this year. The big question mark were the backs offensively, and they've got that experience. Benny and Bucko and really, as we talked about early in our pregame show.
So an outstanding effort defensively by Paulsboro. The Raiders take control at their 42-yard line. Defense is prevailing here in the first period. 5:25 to play. No score. And a good football game shaping up in the Colonial Conference with first place at stake. Bay right back to throw, getting great fly pattern to Kidd, but he overfires him by a wide margin. Looking for Billy Kidd, but good one-on-one coverage by equally fast Quincy Harmon.
He threw that ball, Bob, just under 50 yards in the air, and it was thrown beautifully.
Mark Bay, another one of those great Paulsboro athletes. Mike, of course, a fine three-way performer, three-sport athlete, including wrestling. We're going to be seeing him again this winter. 2nd down and 10 for Paulsboro from its 42-yard line. Like Paulsboro's decided to air it out a little bit.
Yeah, they might want to loosen that defense up for Woodbury. That's not a bad ploy at the outset, particularly when you find yourself near midfield with pretty decent field position.
Long count. Bay to throw again. And stays on his feet, still on his feet, and then misses Forelli. Great job by Bay eluding the tacklers. Roan in there along with Billy Moore and Rob Brown, but somehow Bay was able to get out of it and still get the ball off, and then he had Forelli open and overshot him.
We'll take a look at it. Take a look. I think they're trying to set a screenplay to the left side. It never happens here as the pressure gets to Bay. Look how he is able to get away with it. Just not a good job of tackling at all. Now, Forelli will just slide out. He'll be like the third receiver that he was going to look for. Look how wide open. And Bay, of course, I don't think he's too worried about the incompletion. He's got to be happy about not getting the loss.
3rd down and 10 for the Raiders. 2 incompleted passes on this series.
Where they're really spreading the Woodbury defense with the slot to the near side and the split receiver up top.
Bay again to throw. There's a man open, but it's tipped. Excellent defensive play by Derek Moore, and Paulsboro forced into another punting situation.
Looked like Harry Hoffman, number 45, was open downfield. Bay picked him up late, but then he saw it and lofted the ball. And the defender came along there and made that excellent play. Derek Moore.
Eddie Walker and Quincy Harmon dropping for Woodbury to take Charles DeVault's punt. He is the all-purpose kicker for Paulsboro High School. Fumbles the snap momentarily. Then a bad punt off the side of his foot, and Woodbury will emerge with good field position. So DeVault has had difficulty kicking into the wind here in the first period. And we'll take timeout from Woodbury High School. No score in the Colonial Conference. We'll be right back. Bob Shryock and Mike Linder at Woodbury High. 1st and 10 for the Thundering Herd from the 40-yard line. Penalty flag is thrown. This run will probably come back. A 5-yard pickup by Quincy Harmon, but penalty marker on the play, and again where holding normally is called.
Well, Jimmer Bundy led the way through that time, trying to open things up, and it's possible the flag hit him right in the helmet when they tossed it that Bundy got called for illegal use of the hands. Got to move him back. 15-yard penalties, you don't decline them unless there's already been sizable losses. That's almost an automatic. Purdy will mark it off. Or a 10-yard penalty here, I'm sorry.
Offense, still 1st down.
Senility setting in, Bob, remembering my days X number of years ago.
Well, that does go back.
Sure does.
1st and 20 for Woodbury, now from their 30-yard line. Woodbury hurting itself with penalties here in the first period. Harmon in motion, and Stanton rolling right. Good job by Stanton. He gets back about 7 of the yards before he's finally tackled. No receivers open. The tacklers for Paulsboro led by number 64, Andy Harbison.
Dennis Sweet, a name we haven't heard in the past, also getting in on that hit. And he really put his shoulder into the quarterback from Woodbury. Number 55, Dennis Sweet.
7-yard gain for Stanton. 2nd down, 13 for Woodbury. Ball at the 37-yard line. 4 minutes, 5 seconds to play first period. Bundy now the lone back set behind Stanton. Jimmer gets the call, and they're gang tackling him, and basically the same type of defense for Bundy that the first 2 Woodbury opponents saw, Mike. Swarming defense and 4 or 5 people hitting them. That's what you have to do with Bundy.
And on the sideline, they're excited about it. You're starting to see some talking go on out in the field, Bob, and that points up the rivalry nature of this Paulsboro and Woodbury. a long series and a lot of good football games. And this is community against community, and it's one of the weeks that both of the group of young men on the field realize that. It's community.
3rd and 13. Stanton. And the intended receiver in the play, Rich DeMeo, but Stanton overthrows him by about 5 yards, and now Woodbury will be forced into a punting situation. So both defenses doing the job here in the early going. 3:16 to play, no score.
And I think you're absolutely right, Bob. This is not a case of offenses sputtering so far here in the first period. This is a case of a couple of very strong defenses just showing us that strength.
Stanton punts for Woodbury. Billy Kidd, one of the most dangerous return men in all of South Jersey, and we saw that last week against Gateway, backing up to his 31-yard line.
And they're going to look for a return as they go out to get the wide man with a double coverage to try and keep him from getting downfield.
Stanton, end-over-end punt. Kidd will look for the good bounce but doesn't get it and will let it roll. Pretty good punt by Stanton. It'll roll dead at the 23-yard line. And Paulsboro will have its 3rd possession of this first period.
Yeah, the opening couple of goes with Paulsboro. We watched Mark Bay trying to do it in the passing lanes. It'll be interesting now, Bob, as we hit the 3:06 mark left to play in the first period, whether Bay gets the word from Glenn Howard. All right, let's test the line now. Let's see what we can do running the football.
Keenan Victor, you talked about him, has a lot of speed, and the tradition of the Paulsboro running backs, has had a couple of pretty good ball games. Rob Burnett, kind of an unheralded performer. I don't think I ever recall, Mike, a Paulsboro football team that did not have at least one premier running back.
And the last one, no question about it, Emmett Merchant, and he's proven it, hasn't he? One of the 4 true freshmen to make the varsity squad at Georgia Tech.
I think you named him Speed Merchant when he was a freshman, didn't you,
Correct.
Mike? And
you know,
he lived up to that billing.
I was thinking about this Paulsboro-Woodbury matchup last night, and I realized that this, Bob, our 10th season of high school football, I can recall, and that's what I was thinking about, getting the word in the booth one day, boy, is there an 8th grader coming up in Paulsboro. He is going to be one of the great ones. Emmett Merchant, here we are now 5 years later.
Yeah, we just watched Willie Anderson go the same direction. 1st and 10 for Paulsboro. Victor with the call. Pretty good yardage out to about the 29.
Yeah, we started looking at the Paulsboro clubs a number of years ago. The first one wasn't a bad club, anchored by Kevin Ross. That was at a player to center a club around.
Never forget the Palmyra playoff game his senior year, Mike. Probably the finest performance by a high school football player I've ever seen. I talk about that often, but never forget it.
They decimated that club that day to win that championship.
Victor got 6, 2nd down and 4, gets the call again, and his submarine, excellent defensive play by Woodbury. Bundy in there with a punching tackle along with Billy Moore.
They're the 2 inside linebackers, 34 and 44. 34 Bundy, 44 Moore. They said, come on, try and run it again. You're going to find out what it's like to come through here. If that line can't get out and get on the linebackers, you're not going to get any yardage for those 2 gentlemen.
3rd down and 4 at the 31. I think a lot of people have a tendency to forget, Mike, what a fine defensive player Bundy is as well.
An all-around player.
Bay guns it, high throw. He had his man Bundy in 1st down territory, but a high throw. Bundy had run a good route, so it'll be 4th down and another Paulsboro punt. A punting game here in the first period, and Duvall has had his problems, Mike. If he doesn't get off a good one here, Woodbury on the punt exchange should have really excellent field position.
Well, they're on their own 31. That's where they got the original kickoff back. They got up to the 46 on the first drive. So there's an exchange here on punts of minus 15 for Paulsboro. Let's see what happens with the kick.
Woodbury coming. Better kick this time. Harmon at the 40, drops the football. The ball is loose. Paulsboro has it.
First break. There's the first break. 1:22, and Tough ball games, Bob, are often decided by breaks, and that's the one right there. And I just sensed it as I watched Harmon look up in the air, because twice, Bob, you'll see he looks back down to find out where the defenders are. You can't do that. And as a result, when he finally picks up the ball, it's on his right shoulder instead of where he's supposed to take it. It bounces around. There's a possibility here it could have been picked off by the Paulsboro player maybe and continued to be run in if he gets it in midair.
John Grelly was with the fumble recovery, one of those fine, experienced Paulsboro linemen. First big break, they have it at the Woodbury 34 with the first and 10, 1:09 to go first period. Victor read well, and this will go nowhere as he is dragged out of bounds by Quincy Harmon, who just fumbled the punt.
Nice offensive action on that play. They set up with the wide receiver to the far side of the field. They had their wingback split to the near side. They brought him back in motion, trying to get the linebackers and halfbacks to pre-rotate, and then came with a counter trap to the near side, hoping to get past the line of scrimmage, but the defenders defeated the trap and were able to hold him to about the half-yard gain.
Spot at the 33-yard line. We'll call it 2nd down and 9. Burnett and Victor behind Mark Bay. Bay, who's thrown a lot here in the first period, has plenty of time. Bundy with a crossing pattern, but overshot again, and there was good coverage in the middle by Darnell Denby, another Woodbury's Division I prospects, along with Billy Bohr.
And there's one very upset Red Raider on the field wearing number 29, Billy Kidd. He had gone down the right sideline, Bob, and then cut to the midfield looking to run a post pattern and had his defender beat by around 8 to 10 yards. And you can bet that he's going to tell Mark Bay about that, and they'll come back to that play in a little bit.
Neither team having much success moving the football here in the first period. 3rd and 9 call coming up for the Raiders as Victor and Burnett split behind Bay. Another possible passing down. Bay's had a lot of time. Looking for Kidd. One-on-one coverage and incomplete. Good coverage by Darnell Denby. Two premier athletes go at each other there, Mike.
They're fine defensive back from Denby, but no better one perhaps in the county than Billy Kidd at the wide split position from the wingback that time. I didn't think they'd come back to the play right away, but he must have jumped all over Mark Bay in the huddle and told him, hey, I'm open, you got to hit me. That time, Denby, remembering the last play, did not get taken on any fake, and he just dropped back and was there to make the play.
4th and 9 call coming up for Paulsboro. 47 seconds to play first period, and Bundy and Kidd split to the left.
Well, he went to the hook pattern. This time he doesn't like the defense he sees, Mark Bay, and says it's not correct for the play that we're going to run, so let's call a timeout and get Coach Howard out here, and Glenn hustles out to talk to his quarterback first before he'll talk to the rest of the club. Last time they were in this situation, they went on the hook pattern with just enough yardage for the first down, and that would be a good play right here. And then maybe with the two split men to the top of your screen to the far side as we see it, Bob, then send the other back on a flare pattern to that way and hope that it clears enough to give him the 10 yards for the first down.
Paulsboro with 3 premier receivers. The 2 wideouts, of course, Bundy and Kidd, as good a 1-2 punch as any in the area, and John Farrelly, their fine tight end, honored by the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey last Monday night for his performance against Gateway.
Well, join John Mondelli for Sports Week. Highlights, scores, standings, and interviews on all the local college and high school football, soccer, and hockey matchups in the county. Monday at 7:30 and 10 p.m. 2 chances to see it on Monday nights right here on Channel 5. John Mondelli and Sports Week.
A good show getting better, Mike. Larry Ginsburg and the thundering herd of this sideline. That's Liz Vorhauer, photographer for the Philadelphia Inquirer. So a big early play coming up for Paulsboro. They've had time out to talk about it, and again, Bundy and Kidd, the receivers to the left. Burnett, the only back set behind Mark Bay. Bay really getting a lot of time, but now it closes down, still on his feet. Bundy intercepts at about the 15. Looking for running room up the right side. Oh, had one man to beat
and almost broke it. Zimmer Bundy with the interception, and it took Bay and Burnett to finally knock him out of bounds, and the Woodbury fans love it.
And the Woodbury fans, of course, are well practiced with that excitement and cheering because they had that great season a year ago. What a tremendous time to be in high school, Bob, when you get the good football team representing your school. Watch what happens here. Too many of his receivers went to the far side. You might be able to see them waving in the top of your screen right there, but he looks downfield here trying to get one in between to Hoffman, I believe it is, and Bundy's ready.
Back to live action. Bundy with the call, still on his feet. Victor knocks him out of bounds, but Bundy really up for this game, Mike. Bundy was at Touchdown Club Monday night too, not honored. This there is on Captain's Night for Woodbury. Of course, all of the captains from the Touchdown Club area honored, but I saw him with a gentle little playful wave to the Paulsboro young men who were there, and he's up for this football game. Seven-yard gain, second down and 3. The ball at the 47-yard line for Woodbury. Harmon in motion. Stanton. Good job by Paulsboro. The play really made by Joe Benny, Mike, number 71, the big tackle.
Benny has a tendency sometimes, Bob, to get involved in the middle of the line in the fray between himself and his opponent, and that's one of the maturing factors that he has had to learn. He's got to come up as we're coming up to the end of the first period in this scoreless game, but Benny has to be able to defeat his defender, or the offensive man in front of him, and then find the play. That'll do it for one quarter of action. A good football game here at Woodbury. It's 0-0. We'll be back with second quarter action right after these words. Mike Linder with Bob Schrack at Woodbury. 0-0 as we finish one quarter of action. And Bob, it was really a defensive struggle. Paulsboro ran 21 plays in that period, Woodbury 11, but there's but one first down for each of the teams. Rushing, Paulsboro has 10 yards on the ground. Woodbury 41. Paulsboro 2 for 10 passing. A defensive struggle.
3rd and 1 call at the 48-yard line. Stanton keeps the football, and he may have the first down depending on the spot. Faked the handoff to Bundy, and I believe he got the first down, Mike.
Those statistics given to us by John Bojaning, working with us today in the Channel 5 booth.
They apparently will measure. Paulsboro dominated possession in the first period. They ran 21 plays to only 11 for Woodbury. Paulsboro had only 10 rushing yards. Woodbury 41. Bay threw the ball 10 times. First down on the Stanton run to the 49. That was really the story of the first period. Bay was 2 for 10, Mike. He hit his first 2 passes, both to Darren Bundy, and is now 0 for his last 8.
And he has had receivers open as we watch it from up here in the booth. The problem is that rush from the Woodbury line has forced him to retreat and move from the pocket. And by then, the defenders have been able to close.
Harmon, he has stood up. Big defensive play. Burnett on the right side.
5'9", 175-pound junior, and he hit that time like he was a 210-pound linebacker. Just come in and buried the shoulder in the runner.
Harmon, of course, has the breakaway speed for Woodbury. We saw that as a freshman a couple of times, and he has really been the big play man for Woodbury through its first 2 wins, but no gain here. Second down and 10. Stanton, option right, and he is dropped. He is hit first by Randy Harbison, and a lot of people behind him to help out, including Gus Bucko and David Mann.
Pat McGinn, number 62, is there also to come up with the final hit and take him down. That time Stanton really plays this option wrong, Bob. Watch how he deepens as he comes down the line. He's got to stay just about on the line of scrimmage, but he deepens here, and that allows that pursuit to get back to him in time. And there's the initial hit, and then McGinn, number 62, with 2 other players, takes him down.
I think they...
Yeah, Bucko's wearing that 62, our program with a couple of guys on it.
Yeah, they gave us the wrong number.
Yeah.
McGinn is actually number 68. So a loss of 3 yards, 3rd down and 13. Woodbury having difficulty moving the ball against this fine Raider defense. Harmon in motion, and Stanton retreats to throw. Intercepted, is it?
Knocked away. Harry
Knocked
Hoffman.
away.
Harry Hoffman, number 45, coming up with a fine play.
So Woodbury again forced to punt, and the defense is continuing to dominate this football game. Stanton will punt to Billy Kidd.
When you see a game dominated by defense, Bob, you frequently say, boy, this is a dull and boring game. That is not the case here. Boy, plenty of time for the quarterback this time as Stanton gets back and reads. But watch Hoffman come through the defender, perfectly times it and knocks the ball away, almost getting the interception. They are hitting out there.
Yeah, neither team with a scoring threat so far. Good snap for Stanton.
He's going to
run the football, and he has some room. He's going to get the first down and a lot more. Hurdles one of his own. Now he fumbles the football. The ball is loose.
Out of bounds, though.
But Woodbury will have it. How about that? They fake the punt a la Philadelphia Eagles on the favorite John Pelchik play, and Stanton runs for the first down and a lot more. That's a great call.
A lot of excitement on the sideline as Jolly Nelson, senior tight end, 84, leading the cheers, but that was planned all the way. They looked for the key. You could just watch as he's looking. He's looking. He sees it. They got a wall set up on the right side this time, Bob, and they'll just try and push everybody back to the inside. As you count the blockers, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them out there on that wall to the right side.
He camouflaged that beautifully, Mike. Ball at the 18-yard line. Harmon with running room. Ball is fumbled again, and Paulsboro recovers, I believe, at the 1-yard line. Harmon had the first down and then fumbled, and the recovery, I believe, Mike, is made by number 32, Dave Wallace.
Well, Wallace has no choice but to come up with the football at the 1-yard line. He would have preferred to see it go into the end zone. If he jumps on it, they get the touchback and get it at the 20. But Harmon is hurt down there, Bob, and understandably so, as he really got racked, number 23, Quincy Harmon. They came with that counter trap to the right side, and they were ready to take off on the line of scrimmage and just explode because of the excitement of that fourth down fake punt. Paulsboro may be back on their heels just a little bit, and they got the opening, but look how quickly a situation can turn around. 10:04 left to play in the first half. We're still scoreless here at Woodbury. We'll be right back. Just under 10 minutes to play here, Bob, and a really exciting first half following the turnover. Paulsboro not getting much, if anything, on that first play they run. Looks like a loss, in fact, of a half a yard.
Keenan Victor lost it back to the 1, Mike. Mike Woodbury having difficulty hanging on to the football in the last couple of games, as we indicated, 4 fumbles against Hadfield last week. That's 3 here in the first half, 2 of which they've lost.
About the only positive thing out about it is Quincy Harmon got up under his own control and came off. He'll be right back in that ball game.
2nd and 11 from the 1-yard line. Dangerous spot on the field for Paulsboro despite the fumble recovery. And Bay just gets back. He was hit, it looked like, in the end zone, then fell forward to about the 1.
What a tough call down that close to your own goal line to run an option where that quarterback, although his job is to stay on that line of scrimmage as the offensive line springs forward, he steps into the spot they vacate. But my goodness, if he isn't totally aware and conscious of where he is and he takes 1/2 a step back and gets hit, they've got 2 points.
They need some running room here, Mike. They need to get away from the 1-yard line to give the ball a little room to punt the football at least.
Quarterback could just sneak forward. He runs.
Look at this.
Gee whiz.
Victor.
He didn't
Is
get
he
out.
No, safety. Woodbury leads 2-0 with an unusual call. They run the option in the end zone, and it cost Paulsboro 2 points. Woodbury leads 2-0. Mike, what an unusual call.
Well, that's 2 times in a row, as I pointed out. That's not the call down there. You've got to go forward with a halfback or with a fullback. And more importantly, Bob, almost always a quarterback in the T formation has the automatic. Look at the opening over at center. If he just automatics and taps the center, he could have gotten out 2 or 3 yards himself. Instead, he tosses the ball deep, and there's no way that you're going to get out of that end zone. The cornerback has to love it. First hit made out there by Billy Moore, 44. He's the one that calls that safety. He won't get credit because the final tackle isn't by him, but Moore's shoulder is what stops the halfback and gives him the 2 points.
Denby finished up, Mike, and got the tackle, but you're right, Moore made the play. Larry Ginsburg says, I need a little water. 2-0. And that's kind of appropriate, Mike, considering the defensive intensity of this football game.
Yeah, all we need now is for Paulsboro to get it back before the half and kick a field goal, huh? It's playoff time in baseball, and we could go into the locker room with a baseball score.
3-2 maybe, huh? 8:30 to play in the half. 2-0 lead for Woodbury on the safety as Moore and Demby combine. You know, Victor did a nice job, Mike, trying to battle out of the end zone in that play.
Yeah, a lot of second effort, and he needed, unfortunately, a third effort, and it wasn't to happen as Demby was there to clean up on the hit initiated by Billy Moore.
Stanley Victor will kick this one from the kicking tee. Of course, they have the option, a free kick, they could punt it, but DeVault has not been punting well here in the first half. Victor gets off not a real good kick, and Woodbury will come out of this with excellent field position.
And of course, they're going to have to go back.
Oh, that's right.
They'll lose 5 more yards.
That's right.
Highly unusual, Bob. I'd say, 9 out of 10 times in the safety you'll see the punt. The reason for the punt, of course, is that you generally get the greater hang time, and while you're already deep in your own territory, and an excited group of Woodbury players know it on the sideline, at least with the hang time, you generally can reduce the run back. With the kickoff...
We got illegal procedure here, re-kick.
With the kickoff, it's usually lower, and there's a chance for a run back.
Jimmer Bundy on the sideline. Darnell Demby talking to one of the assistant coaches, Wee Willie Murray, former All-State quarterback right here at Woodbury High back in the early 60s.
Boy, you see intensity written all over the faces of the coaches, and you saw pretty good relaxation shown by Jimmer Bundy, but that's the kind of personality he is.
Now they're going to kick it for the 15-yard line. Quincy Harmon back in the football game. He's the middleman on the return. And a good kick by Victor. Good kick. Harmon takes it at the 35. Good run by Harmon. Hangs on to the football this time. And Harmon's excellent return takes Woodbury inside Paulsboro territory to about the 41-yard line.
Hey, there's the sign of a good football player, huh? A lot of times when a young man will fumble, next time you get it back, the first play you want to give it to him to show him confidence. Well, Paulsboro's the one that gave it to him that time, and he just exploded up the middle and said, "You better hit me to take me down," and he brought it back about 25 yards.
Spot at the 41-yard line for the Thundering Herd. Bundy bouncing off tackler, still on his feet, again draws a crowd, but may have gotten 4 yards.
Loves to go to that left side, get the right shoulder down with the initial hit, and then bounce and float to the outside. And that's the balance that we talked about with Darren Bundy. That's what really helps him, the size, the speed, the strength, of course. But without the balance, that initial hit will take you down in any event.
Didn't look like he was going to get 5 yards out of that, but he did. It's 2nd down and 5, the ball at the 36-yard line. Harmon, he'll have the first down.
And there's the play that he got the good yardage down near the goal line and then fumbled the football. They fake the one way to the left, and then they come back with the trap and the leading back, leading the way into the hole on the counter action to the right side.
Ball at the 29-yard line, 1st down and 10, 8 minutes to play in the first half. 2-0 if you're just turning in. No, it's not baseball. Woodbury with a second period safety, the only points of the football game.
Plenty of time, 7:52, Bob, and only the first half, but you just sense that Paulsboro has to stop Woodbury on this drive.
Harmon again, and not much doing there. The right side of the Paulsboro line up to the task, and Burnett again part of the tackle along with Stanley Victor. And the advance to about the 28, maybe a yard and a half. We'll call it 2nd down and 8.
There are ebbs and flow to every football game, Bob. Psychological moments. You play the whole time, but there are particular points in a game that become really important. I think this drive is it more for Paulsboro than Woodbury.
Harmon, big hole, and still on his feet, and he may have the first down. I tell you, young man is only a sophomore, Mike, and although he's fumbled a couple of times today, you can see the potential greatness in this fine young man.
And it's always a treat for any speedster halfback to have a great fullback in front of him, because watch with the fake, of course, with Bundy gone to the right side, it freezes everybody, and then Harmon is able to get through the initial hole, and then it's a matter of speed and finding the opening in the secondary. So he smiles every time he sees Jimmer Bundy in the huddle with him.
19-yard line. Bundy with his head down, bowls down to about the 16-yard line. He's not getting a whole lot of running room, and every time he carries the football, it seems the entire Paulsboro line is around him. Gus Bucko in on the tackle, but he had a lot of help. Randy Harbison has had a good first half.
Well, everybody assumes Bundy should have 100-plus yardage a day in every football game. The way things are with this club, Bob, and the spotlight on Bundy, he could get between 50 and 75 yards in every game and still be contributing because of the attention that he gets.
Harmon again, same play over the left side, and the ball's loose again. But no, the play was called dead.
And look who got on top of it in any event, number 34, Bundy, reaction. It still would have been, and it is going to be allowed, the fumble recovery, I believe. It'll be Bundy saving Woodbury on that play.
3rd down and 4. Glenn Howard on the Paulsboro sideline talking to his players.
Yeah, he knows at this point he can call almost any defensive signal, and that's not the key. The key is for this team to show some maturity right now as they back up towards their own end zone and get that initial charge. Don't get beaten by the offensive line.
Harmon slips before he makes his cut and is close to the first down, but appears to be about a yard short. It'll be about 2 yards short of a first down, so a big call, 4th and 2. Bundy does the placement work. Larry Ginsburg wants time out to talk about this. Bundy, of course, kicked the extra point last week against Haddonfield that provided the margin of victory, 7-6. He did not kick a year ago, Mike. Is not considered a great high school placement kicker, but this is in his range.
Well, there they are, the brain trust getting together and saying, what's our selection going to be in this situation? You know, last time when they had a situation with short yardage, you said, well, they've got to go with Bundy here, and they didn't, if you'll recall. That was on a 3rd down, and then on a 4th down, they came back with it. And look, he has made his decision, apparently. He comes out, now he wants to talk to, apparently, his quarterback, Dwayne Stanton.
I would doubt, Mike, that they'd go for 3 in this situation. If they made it, that's 5-0. Paulsboro does have a pretty good placement kicker in Charles DeVault, who already has 1 field goal this week.
Well, he's carrying the tee back with him.
Yeah.
Apparently, he has said no way, and usually you see a manager who's assigned to carry the tee, and instead this time Ginsburg grabbed it before anybody could make the decision and come up with a lot of media attention here today. A lot of the area newspapers covering it, and of course Phil Chapin from the Gloucester County Times on the sideline. Boy, he's been doing a great job with that sports coverage in the early football season.
Yeah, he's a good one. Very hard-working young man, part of the fine staff at the Gloucester County Times, one of our sponsors today. Big first half call right here. The ball is about the 10-yard line, 4th down and 2.
Got to be Bundy?
Didn't think so, but
nope.
No. Stanton rolling right, has some room, has the first down, looking for the end zone. He's in for the touchdown. Stanton on the keeper, rolls in from the 10-yard line, and Woodbury leads it 8-0. Of course, Stanton set up the safety with the long run from punt formation when he ran for the first down. Now he scores a touchdown from the 10.
Watch the maturity here. It was going to be a pass-run option. There is a man standing in the end zone, totally not covered, but he said, no, I'm not going to take the chance. It's 4th down. I'm going to run it down. There's the man that was wide open. Can't even catch his number at this point. Could have been Eddie Walker, number 17, I believe. But Stanton showed the maturity. He knew the situation. He said, I know I can get the first down. Maybe I can get the touchdown. Exactly what he did.
10-yard run by Stanton makes it 8-0. Now Bundy from placement. We'll try for the 9th point unless it's a fake. Good snap, penalty flag down, and the kick is blocked by McGinn, number 68, Pat McGinn, but there is a penalty marker down. I believe it's against Woodbury, so that's a big kick, Mike, because Paulsboro still, with a touchdown and 2-point conversion, can tie this football game.
And it is illegal procedure, as we'll hear Larry Purdy indicate.
Illegal procedure, blue, 6 men on the line of scrimmage, refused.
8-0, 5:11 left to play in an exciting first half at Woodbury. We'll be back with more action after these words. How open that kid was in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh. There's the club with the lead with 5:11 left to play here in the first half. It's 8-0, the Thundering Herd on top. Mike Linder along with Bob Schrack for Channel 5. It has been a good one, a real tough, hard-hitting football game to this point.
Bundy for Woodbury. Wallace and Kidd deep. Good kick by Bundy to the sophomore Wallace, who takes it at the 11-yard line. Wallace makes a pretty good return. Goes down about the 32-yard line, where Paulsboro will have possession. Paulsboro has been sluggish offensively today. Bay hit his first 2 passes, has missed on his last 8, and the running game, Mike, really hasn't gotten untracked yet.
You made a real good point, Bob, about the blocked extra point attempt, leaving it at 8-0, and the Paulsboro coaching staff has to be aware of that, of course, and say, let's not panic here. There's no need to go to the air. There's plenty of time, and even if we don't score in this half, what we can't do is allow Woodbury to get back on the scoreboard. We'll have time for adjustments at halftime. Let's not get out of our game plan.
Victor, pretty good hole on the right side, has some running room across the 35.
Balance, an important thing in football. In this particular game, football, you've got to have balance. And if you just start winding it up and trying to throw the ball on every play, it tells the defenders to take that initial step backwards, find their receiver in their particular zone, or if they're playing man-to-man, to stay with the guy that extra step, and makes it tough to throw. You've got to have balance. You got to be able to run in order to be able to pass effectively.
Victor got 5 before the 280-pound Woodbury tackle Rob Brown made the play. Wide open Billy Kidd, still on his feet. He is tough to bring down. Has the first down and a lot more out across the 45-yard line. So after missing 8 tosses in a row, Bay hits Billy Kidd. Kidd with his first catch to the 48. It's 1st and 10.
Yeah, maybe the fact that they came out and ran that ball on first down allowed Kidd to read what defense the other team was in and then come back and say, all right, this is the pattern, and help out the quarterback. The quarterback doesn't make every decision. He will take recommendations from players, and the good quarterback knows which ones to listen to, Bob.
Victor across midfield before he's tackled. Leading the tacklers for Woodbury, Scott Cordy. Clock running, 3:55 to play in a hard-hitting first half at Woodbury High, with the Thundering Herd leading 8-0, but still anybody's football game.
A lot of room now on the near side, Bob, and maybe time to start Billy Kidd in motion coming from the far side. Well, he's going to set down here to the near side. I'm thinking, don't send him out too far, putting him in motion and throw him a pitch on an option play. You got to get that man into the offense a little more. 2nd down and 7. Victor, and great penetration that time by Demby. Didn't make the tackle, but in there quickly, and there's a 280-pounder Rob Brown part of the tackle. Again, Mike Brown, one of 3 Woodbury players, Demby and Bundy being the others, considered Division I prospects. And at 280 pounds, if you can play the game, you're a prospect. Yeah, if you want to play the game, and it's not a bunch of fat, and it isn't with Brown, and you've got any kind of football sense at all, a lot of schools going to take that shot with you.
3rd down and 7, the ball right at midfield. Bay guns it over the middle and had the man, but it turned Bundy around. A difficult catch for Bundy, couldn't make it. It'll be 4th down and force another Paulsboro punt. He was open.
Had 3 receivers that time were open because the Woodbury defenders were playing off, expecting pass and trying to keep everything in front of them. Watch here now. He's getting all kinds of time, Bob. Maybe he doesn't realize how much time he has and has to take that extra instant. You're right. He turned him, absolutely turned him, or he has that big first down.
DeVault punting from midfield. Long count. And a pretty good punt by DeVault. Harmon at the 20. Has some room to the outside, looking for a block. And a nice return again by the exciting Quincy Harmon, and the punter, DeVault, makes the tackle.
He really reads well, looks downfield, finds the man he has to avoid himself. That was the initial defender coming, and then picks up his blocker so well. Although it was set up for the right sideline, he saw that they had that cut off, and he gets back to the inside. And with the 2:36 now left to play in the first half, Woodbury could be content to control the time. And boy, they'd be ecstatic if they were able to come up with another score before halftime.
Ball at the 47-yard line, 1st down and 10. Harmon is stood up. Excellent defensive play by the interior of the Paulsboro line. Bucko in on the tackle, but he had a lot of help. Harbison, we've called his name often. Burnett in on the tackle as well. 2nd down and 10. Clock running, 2 minutes to play first half. 8-0 Woodbury. Those 8 points coming on a safety and on a 10-yard touchdown run by quarterback Stanton. They'll keep it on the ground. Bundy. That's vintage Bundy right there, dragging people with him for an apparent first down.
5 Paulsboro defenders it took to climb aboard the Woodbury Express that time. Bundy, and he looks across to the sideline, Bob, and you saw a little smile that time from him. He loved it as he showed us his tooth guard, if you will. Looked like a boxer, just completed a knockout and gives us the broad smile. He had to really enjoy that. He knew how many were on top of him. It was 5, you could count them.
11-yard gain to the 42, but now the clock becoming a factor. Stanton is going down, great penetration, and the finishing tackle made by Grelly, but boy, Paulsboro line really blew in that time and dropped Stanton for an 8-yard sack loss to the 50.
And apparently Ginsburg wasn't going to be satisfied with the 8-0, dropping back the pass. How about this? Stanton's going to look for somebody, but there's Grelly, and here comes McGinn, and they're on top of him and take him down.
2nd down and 19 with 1 minute exactly to play, and we'll see now if Woodbury is going to try to put the ball in the air and get the extra score or keep it on the ground. Movement, not sure which way this one will go. Left tackle for Woodbury jump.
He saw the movement by Paulsboro. Ball should have been blown dead the minute the Paulsboro players violated the neutral zone. But they're then going to say that the tackle was moving apparently and drew them. We're talking to the Paulsboro captain.
The sun out at Woodbury High. It's been an overcast morning.
Here's the call.
Dead ball. Offense here.
Okay. Yeah. You call it, Mike. So they get 5 back to the 45. That helps a little bit. 51 seconds to go. I think I'd air one out here, Mike. What do you think?
Well, they jumped into a double slot, well, at least the double wing formation, shifted to it out of the wishbone prior to that mistake, and that would indicate a probable pass play, but now they have but the one split end and the wing back to the near side.
Option right, and Stanton keeps it. Nice play, and he's on his feet. He could go. Stanton is going to go on a 45-yard touchdown run, and this has been Dwayne Stanton's half, Mike, with 31 seconds to go. What a great fake he made on the option pitch. Kept the football cut back inside, and with 31 seconds to go in the half, Stanton with his second touchdown makes it 14-0. It was a beauty.
Watch his fake. He freezes everybody. Whoop, whoop, back to the inside. Now he picks up his blockers, comes back to the left side. Everybody had pre-rotated as they saw the motion, and Stanton just has a lark as he cruises into the end zone for the touchdown. He's got to have a smile broader than the one we saw from Bundy.
Hey, we know that Bundy can carry the football, and the other fine Woodbury backs, Harmon, but how about this Stanton? 2 touchdown runs, they'll go for 2.
And here's that double wing.
Stanton can't get the good throw off as he got a big rush from McGinn, so Woodbury again fails on the conversion. However, Stanton with touchdown runs of 10 and 45 yards here in the second period, along with the safety, and it's 14-0 Woodbury.
Some happy players from Woodbury at the present time now. 14-0. Crucial point to give up a touchdown, and an outstanding moment with 31 seconds to go in the half to get a touchdown. Yeah, we enjoy ourselves, Bob, every week as I get a chance now to meet with John Bunning, the head coach at Glasper State College in his first year. Chance to review the prior week's game and take a look at the upcoming contest, and a real nice chance to talk with some of the coaches and players from the Profs program. Wednesday at 10:30, Thursday at 7 on Channel 5. Join me with John Bunning on the John Bunning Show.
Good show, Mike, but you've got to get Bunning to talk a little bit more.
Yeah, not a very enthusiastic guy, is he? Real quiet.
Bundy with the kick off the side of his foot. The ball surrounded by Paulsboro at the 25, and now with 29 seconds to go in the first half, I would think that Glenn Howard would not want to risk any interceptions that could be returned. Just get him into halftime and try to regroup. After a scoreless first period, Woodbury has scored 3 times here in the second period, including a safety.
Yeah, I think you're right, Bob. I think Paulsboro should play it close to the vestiaire. I don't think they want to put the ball up in the air, risk an interception. That doesn't mean they won't do it. I just don't think they should. Be happy to go in at 14-0.
Clock is running, 23 seconds to go, and they are going to fire the football. Bay over the middle. Head kid almost intercepted by Harmon after the ball was tipped. Good defensive play by George Washington.
Then we've got a roughing penalty going to be assessed against Woodbury, however, as the Woodbury band gets ready.
So this will cost the Thundering Herd 15 yards and give Paulsboro eminently better field position.
Yeah, somebody used the elbow to whack somebody in the helmet.
Personal foul, blue, 15, first down.
Quick break, 18 seconds left. We'll be right back with the final seconds of action. Back now with 11 seconds, Bob, left to play, and Paulsboro continuing to try and get that score here before the half ends, and threw it up that time and nearly cost themselves the interception.
Great defensive football game. However, the Woodbury quarterback, Dwayne Stanton, having himself quite a first half running the football. A 10-yard run on a critical 4th and 2 call for the first Woodbury touchdown. Then, with 31 seconds to go in the first half, an improvised 45-yard run on an option play, and that's where we stand 14-0. They'll keep it on the ground now. Burnett, he's going down after a gain of a couple of yards. Dave Roan, the first tackler for Woodbury. They'll let the clock run out. And
Woodbury tackle number 77, Robbie Brown.
Well, the Woodbury team, Bob, is going to go into the locker room the happiest. The Paulsboro team is going to go in maybe with their heads down just a bit. Big responsibility now falls to the coaching staffs. Larry Ginsberg has to temper that enthusiasm of the Woodbury club a little bit and say, look, let's take a look at what happened in that first half, what we did well. Let's stick with the game plan. We apparently have a pretty decent one, and let's go at them. The touchdowns will come, but let's control the ball. Paulsboro, on the other hand, and Glenn Howard has to immediately re-enthuse his ball club and let him know we're still in this game. Maybe it's been Woodbury's contest controlling things in the first half, but we have a good plan here today. We just have to start executing. He's got to wipe the memory of that first half away so that they're not focusing on it psychologically. Halftime, a big time for coaches.
Well, Paulsboro definitely has catch-up capability, Mike, because Bay already has shown us through the first 2.5 games he can throw the football, and few teams have better receivers as wideouts than Darren Bundy and Billy Kidd. So they definitely are capable of coming from behind in this football game. But it was an excellent half with a lot of good hard-hitting defense that you would expect from a Paulsboro-Woodbury game.
And what I like about Woodbury is they are demonstrating over and over again they are far from a one-dimensional football team. You read every publication before the season, the focus, the spotlight. Who's it on? Number 34, Jimmer Bundy, and deservedly so. 21 touchdowns a year ago, knowing everybody's going to key on him. Who do they come up with? Nothing but an unbelievably outstanding quarterback today, at least in the first half, doing a great job, Dwayne Stanton, and of course the other runner, number 23, Quincy Harmon. Those guys are really taking advantage of the attention given to Jimmer Bundy.
Oh, you know, Stanton, Mike, the biggest concern Woodbury had with key people coming back this year like Demby and Bundy, the key thing was finding a replacement for Mike DiMarino, who had an outstanding career and a great senior season for Woodbury, and a leader as much as anything. And I know Larry Ginsberg really was concerned about his quarterbacking situation. Stanton has made the adjustment obviously very, very well. He's had 2 good games coming in, and he obviously in the first half has been the difference today.
Okay, we'll take a look, in fact, at that super play made by quarterback Dwayne Stanton on the option. Oh, does he get this read perfect? Does he freeze him right here? Everybody just takes that half a step the wrong way, and Stanton comes back across. I think he was surprised to see it, but you want to know something? He had to love what he saw. Nothing to do here except make sure I don't fall down. I'm going in for the touchdown, and that one was the big one. It's 14-0. Woodbury on top of Paulsboro. We'll be back with second half action after these words. Mike Linder with Bob Schreck at Woodbury. Colonial Conference action, and it has been a good one. Woodbury, of course, on top 14-0. And here's the story right here as you take a look at the stats. 8 first downs for Woodbury, 3 for Paulsboro, but look at the rushing yard difference. Only 21 yards for Paulsboro on the ground, and Woodbury with 173. They have not completed a pass. Paulsboro has completed 3 for 13, giving them a total yardage, 173 for Woodbury, 55 for Paulsboro. Turnovers, 2 for the Herd, 1 for the Red Raiders. And Bob, the interesting thing, a stat we don't have up on there, as far as possession, it's 32 plays for Paulsboro and 31 for Woodbury, but they made the better of it. You take that 173 yards, and what you got to look at is the total for the quarterback from Woodbury, Dwayne Stanton.
Yeah, he's got more than half of it, Mike. He's got 90 yards. When you see 173, normally you'd think Bundy has a lot of those. He had 42, Harmon 41. Victor kicks off. Taken by Walker at the 12-yard line. Walker with great speed. The vault there for part of the tackle for Paulsboro. He had help on the play. Tom Weiser with part of the tackle on the specialty teams, but Woodbury with the first possession of the second half, starting from their 32-yard line. And what Woodbury would really like to do now, Mike, obviously, is a long touchdown drive, go up by 3 scores, and really put Paulsboro back on its heels. Larry Ginsberg.
He looks like a relaxed man out there today. Not characteristic of him. He's generally pacing up and down with a worried expression.
Stanton on the option. Hold again, and he finally goes down on the tackle by the fine Paulsboro sophomore Dave Wallace. But Stanton pushing towards a 100-yard game, picks up 6 in the play at 2nd and 4.
Remember your pregame interview with Coach Glenn Howard from Paulsboro. You asked him, hey, you're going to key on Woodbury? He said, no, we've got to play the option, and everybody has to do their assignments. You could see it on that play. There was nobody there to take Stanton, and he read it perfectly. They are not correctly defending that option.
Bundy bowling over people on his feet. Bundy cutting back inside. Boy, that is Bundy at his best right there. Tremendous run by Bundy to the 39-yard line of Paulsboro, a pickup of 24 yards.
You love the explosion. That's what you look at from the real good running backs. He's under control. He's under control. Then the opening is there. Watch it, Bob. The opening will be there, and you'll see an explosion of speed. Put the shoulder down. Take care of that linebacker. Now, turn it on. Get downfield with the balance. You could have gone out of bounds. Instead, the good running back finds the opening, comes back to the inside.
Mike, he punishes people. Penalty flag down as Stanton cuts back inside before he's dropped, but Woodbury's had 2 holding calls today. This could be another one.
Yeah, you remember what we said right before halftime. It would be adjustment time in the locker room, and we suggested that Larry Ginsberg for Woodbury would say, hey, everything's going the way we planned. Let's stick with it. Let's take what they've given us. The big play of the half was the long touchdown run by Stanton on the option. Now, 2 out of 3 plays, we've seen them go back to it. They're going to keep running it until Paulsboro proves they can adjust and take it away from them.
We got a blow to the head against the blue.
A blow to the head.
Can't do that.
Woodbury back at the 49-yard line now. A 15-yard penalty makes it a 1st and 25. 10 minutes, 42 seconds to go. Third period. Woodbury with a safety and 2 touchdowns by Dwayne Stanton in the first half. They lead it 14-0. Stanton hasn't completed a pass. Going deep to Walker. Walker has his man beat. Just misses a circus catch. He got behind
Darren Bundy, and a pretty well thrown ball by Stanton, but Walker unable to hang on.
There would have been pretty hard to find one thrown better than that at all. That was delivered right to the spot. Came down the line with the ball up in the air, proper position for the quarterback, waiting for the receiver to find himself open, and then delivering it right to him on the money.
Second down and 25. That, of course, Walker is a sophomore, Mike. There's a lot of underclassmen in this football game, both ways, particularly on the Woodbury team, who are tremendous skill position players. Dembe gets the call and gets a couple of yards. He is driven out of bounds by number 55, Dennis Sweet, for Paulsboro.
That time, why didn't they get the great yardage out of it? The reason, number 62, Bucko, is in there on the quarterback, on Stanton. Doesn't give him the chance to freeze the defense by turning upfield. Takes the quarterback out of the option swing and allows the defenders to come up and get the pitch man.
Third down and 20 for Woodbury. Stanton. He'll keep the football and get only a couple of yards. Woodbury will be forced to punt, but there is a penalty, and this may have been a late hit that will really hurt Paulsboro.
There's no question in my mind. I thought I saw the referee's, Larry Purdy's, hand go for the flag, but I couldn't see the flag. It was blocked, and I said in my own mind, hey, there's a late hit there, and Paulsboro would be lucky if they got away with it. Well, apparently they didn't. So the 15 yards will go back the other way now.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for Paulsboro, Mike, because they had done the job defensively.
Down. Personal foul here. It's a dead ball. It's fourth down.
So now Woodbury needs only about a yard for a first down. The spot is at the 25-yard line, and fourth down and 1. So Woodbury with a big break here and a big opportunity. Glenn Howard having a long morning so far.
They will shock me if they don't go to Bundy this time. We've expected a couple other times in this situation he did not get the ball. He doesn't again.
Stanton cutting back, and he has the first down. It's been the Dwayne Stanton show carrying the football today. He's very close to 100 yards now after his 90-yard first half. Woodbury maintains possession at the 22, and the personal foul late hit penalty really damaging to Paulsboro.
Bob, I can understand Coach Howard's comments before the ball game when you asked him about keying on Bundy. If this is the way the offense has been run for Woodbury in the first couple of games, I'd hate to be a scout here today watching the Thundering Herd and trying to decide how they defense him. The only idea you can come up with is the team concept. Forget Bundy if that's possible. You're not here.
Bundy on his feet. Look at this run by Bundy. However, this one will probably come back. A penalty marker is down at about the 27-yard line. A great run by Bundy, but probably for naught.
Yeah, it's going to be a motion penalty. But as I said about the team concept, because they have the ammunition to go outside, and now as we're into the third game of the season, we're seeing that they're getting real good quarterback action. You got to do it team concept. You cannot key on Bundy, and that is going to make him over the long haul that much more effective.
Easily. Yeah.
We'll watch it here. Stanton looking at the defense. And there goes Bundy. Look how he just steps in through that hole. Wasn't that big an opening? He got the foot up and over a couple of fallen defenders, and that's what gave him the extra yardage.
First down call. Bundy to the outside. Look at him punish tacklers. Punishes them. Oh, he puts a hurt on you, Mike.
And you know, I have a feeling he loves it. And that's the other thing that you look for, the other dimension. Do you have the enjoyment? And if you do, you're going to get an extra surge of energy, and that's what Jimmer Bundy gets.
Second down and 7. The ball at the 18-yard line. Woodbury with 8:29 to play in the third period has dominated possession here in the third period.
Whoops.
Movement on the right is number 79 for Woodbury. Stefan Sager jumped.
That's the wrong way to call attention to him, but I'm sitting here right now, Bob, as I was waiting for that play, thinking about what a super job being done by the line up front. DeMeo and Brown and Sagar and Darby and Cordy and
Dead
Brooke.
ball, foul, illegal procedure, blue.
Like so many football games, if not almost all of them, it's one up front. And that offensive line for Woodbury has been defeating any defensive surge by Paulsboro at all. They have been getting out off the football, and that initial first 2-yard surge has made all the difference today.
2nd down and 11. Ball at the 23-yard line. Stanton looking for Walker in the corner of the end zone. He leaps and almost hangs on. Circus attempt by Walker. Good coverage in the corner of the end zone by Harry Hoffman. It's incompleted, 3rd and 11.
They keep trying to pick on Hoffman, and he's come up strong almost every time they've thrown the ball in his direction. But did you notice Billy Kidd maybe showing a little frustration at the end of this play? You'll see Kidd come flying from the safety position and clean up on the intended receiver with a little hit that says, hey, you better think twice. Look at this hit. Bang.
Oh.
Remember, next time you come downfield that Billy Kidd is here.
3rd and 11 call for Woodbury. 8:23 to play, 3rd period. 14-0 Thundering Herd. Battle of Colonial Unbeatens.
Unbalanced to the left side usually means option that way.
Stanton not going anywhere. Tries to cut it back inside, but Billy Kidd right there, and no gain on the play.
Interesting setup, Bob. They had the room to the far side. They unbalanced the line in that direction and then brought the wing back in motion to try and overload and catch Paulsboro balanced out instead of being rotated in that direction. It didn't happen as Stanton was only able to get the yard.
4th down and 12 coming up for Woodbury. The ball at the 25-yard line as Ginsburg just substituted 5 players.
What's he going to do? Try and boot him into the hole? That's really a tough place for a coach to find his team there, yeah.
At the 24-yard line, I can't imagine they'd punt from the 24, but delay of game call against Woodbury.
That'll be from the 29. They've only lined up like this one other key time. Remember that one? That was one of the biggest plays in the first half
the
with
fake
Stanton.
punt
Yep.
that Stanton ran for a 1st down and a lot more.
4th down.
Now Stanton backing up to about the Paulsboro 43-yard line. So apparently they're going to just try to pin them deep here unless it's a fake. Try to angle it. Look at this. Oh, what a great punt, and they achieved the purpose as the ball is down at about the 3-yard line. So Stanton doing it all today, Mike.
Stanton with the kick and Darnell Demby down there to cover it as it took the Woodbury bounce. Hit just about on the goal line. It must have missed it because if it hits at that goal line, then should have been a touchback and out to the 20, but it comes back up to the 2 or 3 yard line, and Paulsboro with a long way to go and 7:29 in the 3rd period remaining, down 14-0.
Last time they were pinned here, Mike, of course, the safety put Woodbury on the board as they tried to option from the end zone.
There's what you would have expected them to run, and they do it this time.
Maybe a yard by Victor, and Paulsboro has not had particularly good field position throughout this game, and in a very difficult spot here with the clock running, 7:15 to play, 3rd period, and Woodbury holding on to its 14-0 lead.
This is a good Woodbury offensive team, as we've seen, Bob, but lost somewhere maybe in the opening couple of 2.5 games. Is what a great job being done by their defense.
Outstanding job, and of course the defense really credited with their win last week over Haddonfield, a real good Haddonfield football team, 7-6.
Having given up only that touchdown so far this season.
Nothing doing in the middle, and the Woodbury defensive line just absolutely standing everything up, and great penetration that time. Brown was in there along with Scott Cordy, who's played a good football game. And no gain, and again, they're in a similar situation they were when the safety occurred, and that is they need a little breathing room for DeVault on the punt if they can't get the 1st down. That one lost a yard back to the 2-yard line, so it's 3rd down and 11. They to throw from the end zone. Guns it over the middle, has a man. And I think it'll be short of the 1st down as the tackle is made on Forelli by number 11, George Washington. So they get out of the shadow of their end zone, but are short of the first down. And, well, maybe, they're short by about a foot. So Paulsboro, in all likelihood, will have to punt.
Well, this takes courage, and of course it takes a smart quarterback to know to at least throw it away if nobody's open. It is a good pass right on the money, and they got a good spot out of this from the linesman, even though the man was driven back. And, hey, they're saying, hey, this game might be over if we don't do something. We're gone for the first down.
Boy, this could be the football game. 4th and less than a yard.
Guess
Victor does not get it.
Oh.
Still on his feet. Great job by Victor. Breaks the tackle. Penalty flag is down. Still on his feet, but he's knocked out of bounds by Derek Moore. However, way back at the 20-yard line, there's a penalty marker momentarily.
I think it's against Woodbury, though. Let's see.
Victor was stopped momentarily short of the first down.
Mark that one down, Bob. 5:13 remaining to play in the third period, and a gutsy call. And more importantly, an outstanding, courageous run by number 17 for Paulsboro, Keenan Victor. He was dead in his tracks in the backfield and comes up with the big play.
Blue, first down.
Watch this. He is done. He is finished. It's over. He's driven backwards, but he bounces off, maintains his balance, and now comes up with probably, without question, the biggest play of the game for Paulsboro to this point.
Derek Moore saved a touchdown, but a 33-yard run by Victor, and what a great run it was. Gets Paulsboro out of trouble. This play going absolutely nowhere as the co-tacklers for Woodbury are Roan along with Billy Moore.
They have to capitalize now on a swing of momentum on one play. If you can get something out of it, you can turn a football game around. If you don't get anything out of it, if Woodbury is able to tighten here and stop them, then that play goes for naught, and the extra effort by Victor is just forgotten in the middle of the game.
2nd down and 11 at the 44-yard line. Bay to throw. Big rush. Hammer down. Kidd with the catch. Fine defensive play. Good tackle in the open field by sophomore Eddie Walker, although the play does gain yardage to about midfield.
I don't know if you sense the same thing I do, Bob. They've got to get Billy Kidd in this offense more. I just don't know how long they can have him out there on the flank and use him for an occasional pass reception. He is so talented.
He's a big play guy for Paulsboro. We've seen that many times in the past, including last week against Gateway. 3rd down and 6. The ball just short of midfield. Bay to throw again. He's had good protection all day. Guns it. First down catch, and you just talked about that, Mike, and there's Kidd with another reception to the 40-yard line. How about this? This drive by Paulsboro, Mike, started at his own 2-yard line. Now they're down to the Woodbury 40.
Not bad. 58 yards to this point. Watch. Reads well. Finds Kidd. The thing I like about Kidd, Bob, not only is his talent, but you watch him as he talks to his teammates. This is the kind of guy you expect to exert the leadership. And for him to really lead, he's got to be involved doing things.
1st and 10, the ball at the 40-yard line. Bay. And the intended receiver on the play, Harry Hoffman. Incompleted pass. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
But a good pattern run by Hoffman that time. He got in the seams between the linebackers and the deep defenders, and a well-delivered play not only gets him the pass and gets him a first down, but he's under a full head of steam then, and maybe can pick up some blockers on the far side and then turn upfield and go in.
Plenty of time for Paulsboro. 3:27 to play, 3rd period. The Raiders trail it 14-0. Bay has thrown a lot today. Hit as he releases, but an excellent pass by Bay. Making the catch is Hoffman, and I like the way this young man throws the football, Mike. You're a former quarterback. You got to appreciate that.
Well, he gets back quickly in the pocket, Bob, and he apparently knows the patterns real well. He gets back there and then sets, and he takes the look. He scans at his primary receiver, knows where the 2nd and 3rd guy are going to be if that primary guy is covered. And he has been getting pretty good protection, but the other thing you like about him, Bob, the good quarterbacks are the ones that hang in there and throw the ball even as they expect to get hit.
14-yard gain to the 26-yard line with a 1st and 10. Penalty marker is down as Burnett carries for a couple of yards.
Late flag, Bob, for what I think it was. Looked like somebody just breaking a little early, and they'll call it a motion penalty, but that flag should come out of the pocket a little quicker on that call.
This will be 5 yards against Paulsboro.
Yeah, right. You ready for the call, Bob? I'm telling you, they've got Woodbury back on their heels now. They've got the defenders dropping that step as soon as the ball is centered, expecting the pass. Now you throw the screen out to the right side.
Motion here, 1st and 15.
Got to take advantage of what you make the defense do.
1st and 15 at the 31-yard line with 2:59 to play, third period. And an official's timeout is called. Good football game. Woodbury might look like it might have a chance to put Paulsboro away with its drive.
Ambulance pulling up on the Woodbury side. I'm not sure it was a player or not. We didn't see anybody come off injured, did we?
On Paulsboro side, yeah.
On the Paulsboro side, I mean.
No.
There's a jersey with shoulder pads, though, that somebody perhaps has taken off over there now. Check on that one.
Now Paulsboro wants a timeout with 2:59 to play in the third period as we again look at the ambulance and try to figure out what the problem is. We're going to take a break from Woodbury High. Woodbury and Paulsboro trying for their third wins in the Colonial. Woodbury leads it 14-0.
With his shoulder pads in it. 2:59, key spot in the ball game, down 14 points. Paulsboro has been driving as one of their players is going to be taken over to Underwood Hospital, but Bob, first down, 15 to go, and you just sense that the responsibility is on Mark Bay's shoulders right now.
He's thrown the ball well today despite an 0-for-8 streak in the first half. And they keep it on the ground. Burnett with a little yardage, maybe 2. Billy Moore with the tackle for the Thundering Herd. Moore, another one of the outstanding underclassmen for Woodbury High, only a junior. And of course, he was a prominent player as a sophomore a year ago. The carry to the 28-yard line, 2nd down and 12. Bay retreats. Penalty marker is down. The pass is completed. Great job by Victor staying on his feet, battling for extra yardage. Excellent run after the catch by Victor. However, a penalty marker is down. The injured Paulsboro player, we believe, is Dave Wallace, their fine sophomore performer. That's unofficial, but I believe that's his, we saw his jersey down beside the ambulance. This one's going to come back. Victor with a great run after the catch for Paulsboro, but it will be nullified.
Holding offense, 2nd down.
Both teams really hurting themselves with penalties today, and this one very damaging against the Raiders back to the 40-yard line. So they have to get the ball all the way to the 16 for a first down. It'll be 2nd down and 24.
Woodbury 40-yard line. 2nd and 24.
I find Bill Kidd in this situation. And they've got single man-to-man coverage on him.
Bay looking that way, guns it to Bundy, just past his outstretched fingertips, incompleted, and it'll be 3rd down and 24 for the Raiders with 1:57 to play in the third period.
Watching the Woodbury defenders, Bob, are just playing up a notch now because they're so concerned about the ball being thrown in the air. I've got to come up with a pump fake and then hit Kidd, because every time Bay delivers the ball, the one thing he is doing is focusing on his receiver and then throwing. And as he focuses and begins the arm motion, the defenders from Woodbury are gone to where they anticipate the pass.
Harmon with the one-on-one with Kidd, and Bay is dragged down on an outstanding defensive play by David Roan. Roan in there in a hurry, and he makes a big play as Paulsboro loses all the way back to the 49, and they have 4th down and about 35, and that'll force a DeVault punt.
and there were men open downfield, but Roan is able to work off the block, and they helped him a little bit by sliding in the direction that Roan had fought the blocker to.
So the Paulsboro drive sputters. Penalty again. DeVault, good punt this time, excellent punt. Harmon is going to let it go, and it'll go into the end zone, but another penalty is down. This will go against Paulsboro, so Larry Ginsburg has an option here to take the ball at the 20 or force DeVault to punt again. DeVault has not had a real good punting day, although that was a very excellent punt.
Well, he's going to make him punt it again. There's no question. Ginsburg wants to push him back and get a chance perhaps at a run back and pick up 10, 15 more yards instead of starting at his own 20-yard line. What I think of this situation, Bob, I'm not sure I wouldn't be happy with the 14-0 score, 1:13 left to play in the third quarter, starting at the 20. You put the ball up in the air and you got the chance of that fumble on the catch
We had
of the
12
punt.
men on the field, illegal participation.
That's not fair, guys. Got to go 11 to 11.
So DeVault will punt again. This time he's back at about his own 20-yard line. So this Paulsboro drive is going in reverse.
4th and 54, Paulsboro.
Seemed to me they pushed the ball back too
Yeah,
far. It seemed to
I
me.
believe so.
From 4th and 35 to 4th and 54 on a 5-yard penalty, but they've talked about it. They're going to do anything about it? Apparently not. Yeah, we'd have to check the running.
That's amazing.
The running commentary on that one to see if that's exactly correct, but perhaps it is.
That's amazing. No wonder they're going to force him to punt again. Bad snap. Good job by DeVault. Scooping it up, almost blocked by Brown. And you can see what this exchange is going to do for field position for Woodbury, as it will be down at the 45-yard line. So the net gain for Woodbury is 25 yards.
Well, I told you Ginsburg would make the right decision, didn't I? He came up with it.
Minute 2 to go, third period. It's been basically a defensive game. The difference really, Woodbury's junior quarterback, Dwayne Stanton, with 2 touchdown runs of 10 and 45 yards, and really the big one, that 45-yarder just before halftime on the option.
Go back, Bob, and explain that as we watch Bundy trying to get that yardage. They were absolutely correct as I think about it. That was an illegal participation penalty, right, instead of illegal procedure. An illegal participation is a 15-yard penalty, not a 5 as the illegal procedure is. So with the 12 men on the field, they lose that yardage, and obviously then why Ginsburg knows quickly to take the penalty and force the punt again.
Bucco and Grelly tackled Bundy. Bundy got only a yard to the 46. It's 2nd down and 9. Bundy is not going far again, doing a nice job on Bundy as Burnett hits him along with Forelli, and Bundy in 2 carries has managed a net 1 yard. It's 3rd down and 9. Of course, everybody looking for Bundy to carry the ball. The Woodbury statisticians doing the job for Larry Ginsburg and crew. You know, you talked a little bit about that coaching staff, Mike, in the first half. That is really one of the fine coaching staffs in the area. Ernie Oldenburg, the former coach at Gloucester Catholic High School, good friend of Larry Ginsburg's, has been with him for years. Willie Murray, we talked about him. And, of course, Jerry Miskar. Into the third period from Woodbury High. 14-0 Thundering Herd. We'll be back.
Fourth quarter action. Woodbury with the 14-point lead. We'll start the 4th and final quarter. Mike Linder along with Bob Schreck for Channel 5. Bob?
3rd down and 9 call. A little mix-up in the backfield, and Stanton still on his feet. They're having an awful time tackling him today, and he makes a nice run, although he only gets about 2 yards out of it. Stanton over 100 yards, and his effort running the football today has really been the difference. Has been a Woodbury passing attack has really been almost non-existent. So Woodbury forced a punt. Paulsboro is still very much in this football game. Still have a full quarter to play, and you know, Billy Kidd, Mike, really one of the most exciting punt returners we've had a chance to see in a long, long time. Paulsboro's had a lot of them through the years, and Raiders would love to see him bust one.
That's what they're in need of right now, the big play to change the psychological feeling for the Paulsboro club.
Stanton.
Pass.
Look at this. He still gets the punt away. Amazing. And look at the roll. I tell you, Dwayne Stanton can't do anything wrong today. The ball is down at the 11-yard line. It looked like a fake. They were going to try to get the first down. Then he didn't find anybody open. He punched the football among a crowd.
Ginsburg talking to him on the sideline as if suggesting the man was wide open. Why didn't you throw it?
How does he get it off? How does he get that punt off?
I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what, Bob, I know where you go on Monday nights. That's the Touchdown Club of South Jersey at Woodbury Country Club. I'll tell you right now, I think maybe we have found the back of the week.
You know, I was thinking the same thing. I'm not a part of the selection process anymore, Mike, but he's got to get some votes, that's for sure. Paulsboro has had horrendous field position most of the day, and the same thing here. They start from the 11. Bay. Oh, he's going down. Bob Brown tackles him at the 5-yard line for a 6-yard loss. He's one of those Division I prospects we talked about, 280-pound.
It's bad enough. It's bad enough as a quarterback to get hit from the blind side, but when it's 280 pounds hitting you from the blind side, you're going to start looking back a little bit before you are sure that you're free to throw the pass. That is a message tackle. The message is, watch out, I'm coming.
Loss of 5, second down, 15 there at the 6-yard line. Boy, Bay has really been deep in his own territory to try to get this offense moving today. Incompleted pass, it'll make it 3rd down and 15, and Woodbury wants to force DeVault to punt again from a precarious spot on the field.
Any chance that Bay got rid of that just a little early because of the prior play?
I heard footsteps. I think Bay's played a whale of a game under the circumstances, Mike. Paulsboro has simply not had field position today. Has to pass from the end zone again. Batted away by Brown. Rob Brown, what a defensive series he had. Roan in on it again too, Mike. David Roan has had an excellent game.
I love the control of Brown, the way he comes in. He's not a runaway player. He's under control at all times, and as a result, as he comes on that play, Bob, he's able to get the hand up. You'll see. Watch him. He's under control. He knows the down and distance. Bang, get the hands up, knock it away. And there was Kidd, Bob, all by himself down here on the left side of the picture. You saw him, and give him running room, and it could have been trouble for Woodbury.
The ball kicking from the end zone, 1 yard inside the end zone, and he gets off a pretty good kick. Harmon takes it at the 36. He is chased and tripped up by Gorelli, who does a good job getting downfield, and Forelli along with him. But Woodbury, Mike, has a real good chance now to put this game out of reach if they can take this in and score, and they go from the Paulsboro 23-yard line.
Well, I think it's Bundy time right now. You want to control the football, run the clock down, and you're in good enough field position you can get in for that score. Bundy, so far in the day, 12 carries for 80 yards.
Mike, he has not had a 100-yard game this season. He has a chance to do it today. He'll get the call, trying to get to the outside, and he has not had a lot of running room. Paulsboro's done a very admirable job. Bucko over there in on the tackle along with Victor Burnett. And that's what it takes, as we talked about before, to get Bundy, is to have a number of people hit him and hit him low. He gets 2 yards to the 21, second down and 8, but the clock running and becoming Paulsboro's biggest enemy now. 9 minutes, 5 seconds to go. Woodbury trying to put it away, leading 14-0. Second back through is Harmon, and he slides through and gets some pretty good yardage down near the 15-yard line.
You get a chance to look at Bundy, Bob, and you can tell football players all you want. You got to tackle this guy low. But he's got a couple of tree stumps, doesn't he, for legs?
Oh,
you're just gonna sense those thighs coming up into your face mask. You get down there too low, and I'm sure that's what they're thinking. But with the balance and the ability to use the shoulders, and with the forward motion that he has, he just becomes difficult, high or low.
3rd down 5, Harmon with the carry again, and he'll be short of the first down. Paulsboro has played a fine defensive football game, save You know, a couple of Stanton runs. Victor, who's played outstandingly on defense, makes another tackle. The spot is at the 17. It'll be 4th down and 3, and a real critical call coming up for Paulsboro. If they have any hope at all to pull this one out, they really have to stop Woodbury here.
Well, the play you predict in this situation, based on what has happened so far, it's option time with Stanton, isn't it?
A lot of room to this side, and he'll option right. Cutting back inside, has the first down, still on his feet. Oh, what a job Stanton has done. And he is down near the goal line, first down, but I'll tell you something, Mike. You made that call good again. You're having a hot day. Stanton, Paulsboro simply has not been able to tackle Stanton today on the big plays.
Watch him read it perfectly. There's only one man out there. Now, whoa, that's no way. You don't grab him like that. You got to put the shoulder in him and take him down. But Stanton's day all the way, no question about that.
You know, Mike, somebody who appreciates that is Mike DiMarino, who was the quarterback last year. He is here today from Princeton watching this. Bundy trying to power into the end zone. He's close, he's in. Bundy from the 2 after Stanton set it up. And that makes it 20-0 Woodbury, and they could be home free. 7:23 to play. Bundy with the score. He earned it, too. I tell you, Paulsboro has been whacking him all day long.
Well, the first time we, I guess, got what we expected. How many times today did we say, well, this has to be Bundy on this play? And that's exactly what it was that time, finally.
What a fine all-around performance by the Thundering Herd today at 20-0, and I can't remember a time that they handled Paulsboro quite this handily. Bundy will try to make it 21-0. I think you just got from John Vogening, Mike, the Stanton statistics. They're very interesting.
Not bad, huh? 14 carries, 121 yards.
Wow. Yeah, I think you're right. I have to talk to the Touchdown Club boys about his job today. But he's made the big plays, the 2 touchdowns, and then he set this one up with the option run again. Woodbury has not converted after a touchdown today. They're 0 for 2. Bundy had one blocked, and then a 2-point try went awry. Now Bundy lining up. Not too many straight-on place kickers anymore, Mike.
This is just power.
Low kick, but it's through. Just got over by a couple of feet, but it got through. It's 21-0 as Bundy scores a touchdown, then kicks the extra point.
Now watch this play. Here it is. Give me the ball. I dare you. Try and take me down, one of you. One won't do it. Try again, 2 of you. Look at him going for the football trying. 3 of you, 4 of you. There are only 4 guys there, but Bundy falls forward with the football, breaking the plane, and gets the touchdown.
Woodbury with a great opportunity to go 3-0, coming off the undefeated Colonial Conference Championship season of a year ago, and that young man thinks they're in pretty good shape, and the whole Woodbury team feeling pretty good right now. Quincy Harmon waving to the crowd. You know, Paulsboro has really not played badly, Mike, but they have self-destructed with penalties. They've had bad field position all day long.
You know, the beginning of this game wasn't that big a crowd. It really filled up late here, Bob, a nice turnout. But the Paulsboro fans have pretty much given their verdict now as you look at the track as they are now exiting the ballpark. It has been a big day rushing for Woodbury, Bob. 40 carries, 258 rushing yards.
Kidd picking it up. Kidd is tripped up on a fine tackle by Rodney Miller, or Kidd had some running room to the outside. So with 7:17 to go, and the fans starting to file out for the Paulsboro side. Always difficult for Paulsboro fans to accept the loss to Woodbury, Mike.
Well, it's difficult for them to accept any loss at all, but you are right. This is a rivalry. Over the years, it has been a tough contest. It's community against community, and not just the players on the field.
Of course, Woodbury defeated Paulsboro in the regular season last year, but then the Raiders came back. Bay has to call a timeout in this situation. The Raiders came back to upend Woodbury here. Mike, remember that game? Coldest I've ever been in my life.
It was chilly. The wind chill factor, what do you figure it took it down to?
Below 0. Timeout for us from Woodbury High. Woodbury in great shape, leading 21-0. Mike Linder and Bob Shryock at Woodbury. The final 6:56 of the football game. Penalty down. Bay guns it. Too high, intercepted. Intercepted. He's got running room. Could go. Darnell Demby. Demby looking for one block. He's in for the touchdown. However, remember the penalty marker down, but another one after the play. Another penalty is down. Darnell Demby with a touchdown return on the interception of about 52 yards. And that would be the coup de grace. However, we'll see the way the penalties go.
Well, the first one looked as if it was some kind of motion on Paulsboro. And the second one looked like it was some kind of frustration on Paulsboro.
This penalty, or this touchdown will stand. Demby with a return for a touchdown and the interception.
We have illegal motion here, decline. We have a dead ball, personal foul here, which will be administered on the kickoff.
Oh.
Touchdown's good.
That's right, dead ball and situation. They're going to get that one back, that 15 yards. Watch it here. There'll be motion up at the, apparently on the far side. Throws it right up here, and what I like about him is the sense now, Bob, as he comes down, he knows there's two defenders, and he's got two blockers in front. He wants to set them up. He does the little dip. That gives him the one block. Now he's got the one man. Watch you. Wait. Now he's going to cut back inside the block for the touchdown. Demby, with great football sense, scores on the 52-yard interception.
4 in Washington with the blocks to help take him into the end zone. Bundy, he gets it again, 28-0, and believe it or not, it's turning into a rout now. 6:44 to go. Demby, Mike, another one of those Woodbury Division I prospects. Just a fine young man who's had a great career.
Playing free safety on that play, Bob, and he dropped way back knowing it's going to be a pass situation, and he probably was drooling. It was the old Pavlovian response. How the bell was rung, he knew it was time to get fed. He dropped back, read it perfectly, came running up the field with a 5-yard head of steam, and took it and then found his blockers and into the end zone.
Even Pavlov got in this game, huh?
Yeah, he's number 38, I think.
So the penalty now.
Sure, the 15-yard dead ball foul. They'll move it back and assess it on the kickoff. Oh, it was interestingly, against Woodbury. They're lucky it was a dead ball foul.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. I just assumed that it was against Paulsboro, but Woodbury getting lucky that time that Demby had gotten in early enough.
One of the few really bad throws that Bay's made today, and Denby takes it back, and it was 52 yards for the touchdown. 28-0 Woodbury, the score a surprise. Short kickoff. Returned to about midfield where the tackle is made by Eddie Walker. Now Paulsboro, Mike, would just like to get one in the end zone now to make this score a little more respectable, and they'll start from the Woodbury 49-yard line. Really, the Woodbury defense, Mike, as much as anything else, has been the key to this football game.
Well, just so far now, if they go to 6:32 without giving up the score, they'll be averaging just 2 points allowed a game because they have allowed only the 6 points coming into today.
They will put it up again. Oh, there's another interception, and Quincy Harmon's going to go. They'll never catch him. Harmon at the 20, the 15, the 10, and on consecutive throws by Mark Bay, first Demby, and now Harmon have returned it for touchdowns. This one a 60-yarder, and it's 34-0, 6:06 to play. How about this? Quincy Harmon, the sophomore, with a 60-yard interception return, and when is the last time we saw 2 consecutive passes returned for touchdowns?
Oh, the game is so easy to play when you're up 28-0. You can do so many things that, Bob, you're really capable of doing at any time. But this game is always like any other sporting activity, more than just a physical contest. It's a mental contest. This time, Harmon just keeps his wits about him and performs the way he's capable by knocking it up in the air and coming down with it as he runs under it and then taking it in for the score.
Good snap. Bundy, does he get it over? Yeah.
That's about the only excitement left, isn't it?
Yeah,
whether or not
his going to get it over the end zone or the crossbar. Now 35-0. Mike, they scored 3 touchdowns in what, the last 1 minute and 17 seconds.
Right, 7:23 left in the fourth. Bundy with the 2-yard run, 6:44 left. Darnell Demby, and then 6:06. Now watch this. He says, it's nothing to it. I'll just put the arm up, knock it in the air, and then I'll watch it come down right into my arms. And then just all the way turn on the speed. But I love it when you're out 28-0. The game becomes relatively easy to do difficult things.
Quincy Harmon, interception return right after Demby takes one back. And Mike, we'll have to check the records to see when the last time a Paulsboro-Woodbury game was this lopsided. Hi, Quincy. Quincy Harmon happy. Only a sophomore. What a career he has in front of him. Oh, Woodbury will kick off again. 35-0, 6:06 to play. Billy Kidd at the 21-yard line. Good coverage, and the first tackler for Woodbury, don't know who it was. Want to thank both high schools for helping us prepare this telecast today. Head coach Larry Ginsburg, his fine staff. We talked about some of them. Ernie Oldberg, Jerry Miskar, Willie Murray, Jim Boyd's done an outstanding job here. Donna Morello, Ray Copeland, and athletic director Tony Gadecka, who did not get us any hot dogs today. Ball at the 32-yard line. Bay's last 2 passes have been intercepted and returned for touchdowns. This one is completed, and for a first down to Jason Coleman.
Well, it depends on the mark. I think they might have had it on forward motion, but the mark might leave it 6 inches shy. They're going to bring the chains out and check. Well, you talked about the Woodbury staff. Take a look at the good group from Paulsboro. Head coach Glenn Howard, Joe Hershaft still there. Longtime assistant Larry Cox, Paul Marina, John Crane, and of course the athletic director, a legend in Gloucester County, Bob Frederick.
It is a first down, just barely. Bob Frederick doing a fine job as AD at Paulsboro High School after giving up his wrestling coaching chores. You know, this Paulsboro team will be back, Mike. The final score would indicate that their program might be in a little bit of trouble, but I don't think that's the case at all. This has been a mushrooming effect here in the last quarter after a tough ball game, and they have a good football team. They'll be back. Kidd with the catch, looking for some running room. Dances around. He's knocked down. Tackled by Harmon, who makes a great tackle on Billy Kidd. Harmon showing us a lot 2 ways today.
Yeah, growing up quickly, isn't he? Bill Kidd been around now, the veteran player, and he tried to tap dance his way through the secondary that time, and the sophomore comes up and says, I haven't read your newspaper clippings, and puts the shoulder in him, takes him down.
First down carry by Kidd after the catch to the 46-yard line. First down and 10. Bay. Good throw. Penalty markers down as Hoffman tries to get to the outside. He could go. Demby finally knocks him out of bounds, but penalty is down at about the 48-yard line. And if this one comes back, and it looks like it will, another part of the frustration that Paulsboro's endured today, and this one will be called back.
Yeah, that's the if this is a roughing penalty or something of that nature, it's about the only thing that you really worry about now in the 4:55 and in an intense rivalry between two schools representing a couple of communities. You just hope that it doesn't get ugly.
We had a personal foul against the white. Personal foul against the white.
Frustration time for Paulsboro High after the great run by Hoffman after the catch.
Play.
And you hear the warning being assessed there. We just happened to pick it up over by Larry Purdy, the official. And the reminder's an important one, Bob, with the ruling, of course. You lose, you get tossed out of a game, you lose another game.
First down and 25, the ball at the 38-yard line. Tough way to play football for Paulsboro. Trailing by the big margin, trying to get something on the board. Bay goes deep again, looking for Kidd, but he has three people covering him, and there's going to be a penalty. That is a late hit on Billy Kidd after he's out of bounds, and I think that's probably a good call.
Well, it's a smart call. Call made by Bill Riley, the linesman on this side, Bob, and Bill Riley has been officiating high school football games for over 30 years. I know that only for one reason. He refereed a number of my games when I was playing in high school. A resident of Sea Isle City, and loves the high school game, although for a number of years he was a college official. In fact, we had him as a referee at Class First State a few times.
Dead ball, personal foul, blue.
Those back in the days when you were
Second
quarterback
down.
in Pleasantville High?
That is correct. An interesting question at this point, Bob, with 4:40 left to play. When does it become substitute time on both sides? When do you give some of the youngsters a chance to experience it? It's pretty difficult at Woodbury, as we pointed out. Only 31, 32 players even in the uniform for today.
I think Glenn Howard wants to get something on the scoreboard, Mike. I think that's probably one of the reasons he wants those starters in there. Bay throwing on almost every down. Another good throw to Hoffman, and Hoffman doing a good job getting open. Gets a first down inside the 30. 4 minutes, 33 seconds to play. So Hoffman, we talked about Darren Bundy and Billy Kidd being good receivers, but give Harry Hoffman some credit. He's had a good day catching the football.
And remember, he's had a good day defensively also. You know, about the only place they're even today is in penalties. Both teams assessed 7 penalties. Paulsboro for 78 yards, Woodbury for 70.
Ball on the 28-yard line. Bay throwing it every down now. Has Kidd. He's knocked out of bounds by George Washington.
And Liz Borhauer nearly comes up with a broken leg on that one as she took a shot as she turned to try and get out of the action.
She's used to being hit on the sidelines, covered a lot of football games. There's Doc Connor. Franny O'Connor has been on the sidelines as Woodbury team doctor as long as I've been in Gloucester County, 24 years. Bay getting a big rush and incompleted pass. Excellent defensive play by Todd Marinock. No sack as Bay threw on the way down, but it's incompleted, and Marinock made that play. 4:17 to go. A 3rd and 7 call coming up for Paulsboro at the 25-yard line. Been a big day for Woodbury High, 35-0 over its arch rival Paulsboro. Woodbury to go 3-0, and Paulsboro will drop to 2-1. First down carry here for Burnett. Gets it inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. Paulsboro keeping its drive alive. Burnett up slowly. He's all right. So Woodbury has not lost a Colonial Conference football game now in the last 2 years, although they were beaten by Paulsboro in the NJSIAA playoffs last year. Kidd put in motion. And overthrown is Kidd.
Well, Mark Bay has a lot of growing up to do as a quarterback, and it's tough as you're a senior getting the first real sustained action at all. But take away that 0 for 8 streak that he had in the second quarter, Bob, and he winds up right now, he's 11 for 30 with 125 yards, but the big statistic he's going to have to focus on is the 3 interceptions that are on part of his record today also. I don't think he throws the ball that poorly at all. I like him. I really think that he can grow. You got to just stay with him and demonstrate the confidence in this quarterback.
Bay going over the middle, incompleted pass, the intended receiver, Jason Coleman. Mike, when is the last time you recall a Paulsboro quarterback throwing the football as many as 31 times in a football game?
When's the last time you recall Paulsboro looking at a scoreboard and being down 35 points?
I'm sure we've never done one on Channel 5 that's been that one-sided. A little deceiving considering the 2 interception returns to the TV. And Bay is going to be tackled for a loss. Marinock in on the play again, and he had help from Bill Walton, from Charles Nelson, and Larry Ginsburg has some of his second liners in there now doing a good job. 4th down coming up, maybe Paulsboro's final chance to put something on the scoreboard. The ball at the 21-yard line, clock running 3:20 to go.
Oh, it stings in Paulsboro, Bob, when you lose. It stings. Who knows how badly it's going to sting tonight when they go home the short end of this score to Woodbury.
Bay is sacked.
And that is the coup de grace as the sack is made by Tom Wilmer. We'll take time out from Woodbury High. All Thundering Herd, 35-0.
Well, it's difficult to find what to say, Bob, at this point in the ball game. We came in here today with all kinds of excitement. You sensed it as you arrived. The people who were here early, it was like they were like pacing nervously on both sides. They were looking forward to the great game. The build-up, both teams 2-0 coming in, and it looked pretty decent early in the going here. It was a game that even with some mistakes by Paulsboro, they found themselves down only 8-0, and then as we approached halftime down, it was still only 14-0 and a chance to get into this game. But Paulsboro just found themselves on the short end here as Woodbury exploded, primarily defensively in the second half.
Todd Marinuk will have an opportunity to run the offense for this last series or two. And almost breaking it was Billy Moore. An excellent run by Moore of about 9 yards. Yeah, Mike, going back to your point, you know, I'm not trying to minimize the tremendous effort by Woodbury today, but really, I don't know if it's a 35-0 football game. The consecutive interception return TDs really turned it into a rout. I really don't think that Paulsboro is 35 points poorer than Woodbury. Pickup of 9, second down and 1, the ball at the 41. Second offensive unit in for Woodbury, and Moore gets a carry again and is close to a first down. Paulsboro still in there popping. Burnett's had a good defensive game, makes a tackle again. First down pickup. And there's a youthful football player.
That's the picture of victory, isn't it? The player on the sideline, Darnell Demby, able to get the big smile out and enjoy it and play with one of the youngsters and give him a chance to wear a Thundering Herd helmet. And means an awful lot to a youngster. It's the kind of thing he can remember in years to come to get him ready to play.
Darnell Demby, a nice young man, Mike. I've had a chance to talk to him before. Ooh! Oh, what a crunching hit by Joe Benny. Benny, and it's a fumble, and Benny not only makes the tackle, he makes a fumble recovery. He hasn't stopped.
He's a nice player too, Bob, with the good size, 6'2", 205. Yeah, down in the right end zone, Bob, there's a couple of figures as we watch this crushing hit. Benny finally getting into the fray. There's some Paulsboro fans, longtime fans in red jackets down there, and sadly watching the end of this game.
Bay. Billy Kidd. Kidd trying to get to the outside. He does! Kidd one man to beat. Good run by Billy Kidd. Still in there battling. He is knocked out of bounds finally by Demby, but a nice job by Kidd. Kidd not with bad statistics today.
Got to get him in the offense a little more. I mean, it's easy for us to say when we show up on Saturdays, Bob, and we're not there all week and really know the total dimension of the football club, but Bill Kidd, one of those guys that you just expected to be one of the top offensive performers in the county this season.
Only question now, can Woodbury preserve its shutout? Bay over the middle. Intercepted! Intercepted! Demby with a chance to go again. He has to beat Burnett. Cutting back inside, he's going down. Darnell Demby with a big day, and he almost returned another one for a touchdown. His carry is all the way down to the Paulsboro 47-yard line. Darnell Demby with a big day.
Talking as we're watching this play here, he just puts it up, and Demby sitting back again is able to come across from the free safety position, Bob.
We had illegal motion here. Decline. First down.
Demby has no responsibilities except to play center field, and he's just loving it. Talking to John Vogening, Bob, sitting alongside us in the booth today, supplying us with these great statistics we've been able to give you. You know how long he's been around Paulsboro, what, since the town was invented, I guess. And he cannot recall. He cannot recall any time there's been a 35-point differential in a Paulsboro football game.
I guarantee you Paulsboro will remember this one, Mike.
And they have to come back next week. They've got Audubon on their schedule. Woodbury will play West Deptford.
Well, Mike, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Paulsboro can regroup and also make the playoff.
Yes.
And see Woodbury again.
That was the scenario a year ago as we opened this game with the film of Joe Redmond's touchdown with just over a minute left to play in that ball game to sting Woodbury and take away the chance for the perfect season in the South Jersey Group 1 Championship. I think there's some happy players there, huh? Particularly that big guy, number 77, Rob Brown.
Ball at the 46-yard line. Be the final play of the football game. Woodbury will just keep it on the ground. Marinuk is tackled. The ball is loose, and it might have been a face mask penalty. 4 seconds to go, so it is a face mask. Big day for the Thundering Herd. When it rains, it pours. Everything that Paulsboro has attempted today is seemingly going wrong. Larry Ginsburg, a happy guy, and how many times has he had this much of a chance to relax at the end of a Paulsboro-Woodbury game? Larry's done a great job with this program, and the Bundy years have been most memorable for him. There's it. That's it. Final score from Woodbury High. Woodbury 35, Paulsboro nothing. The Thundering Herd moves along undefeated at 3-0. Paulsboro drops to 2-1. We'll be back.
Well, we opened today's telecast by showing you the Joey Redmond touchdown of a year ago in the playoffs that took the chance for an undefeated season and a South Jersey Group 1 championship away from Woodbury. We said this could be the day for revenge, and I guess you say they accomplished that task as it's the Dwayne Stanton day on offense and a total team effort on defense. Woodbury winning this one and winning it big, 35-0. Bob Schrock's got a cadre of happy people down there today on the sidelines. Let's hear what they have to say. Bob?
Larry, you told me before the game you thought your team was ready to play today. I guess they were.
Oh, they were ready. I'll tell you, they were the two best practices we had all year, maybe, in the last couple of years, the last two, and we just had a great feeling. Everything was clicking. The kids were just ready to go. They were ready to go.
We talked about this Woodbury offense the last couple of years, Larry. I think some people really have kind of disregarded the outstanding defensive team that you've had the last 2 years, and this one looks to be one of the better Woodbury defensive teams I've seen in a long time.
Well, this year our defense has been carrying it, but the offense is doing its job too. We're moving the ball hard yards, taking a lot. We're punishing the other team with the ground game, and it's wearing them down. And then come the third and fourth quarter, we're ready to go, and they're hurting a little bit.
Dwayne Stanton making the most of his opportunity this year. Dwayne, you had an outstanding game. Not too many times you see a quarterback gain over 100 yards, 14 carries, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, and really, Dwayne, the second TD, the 45-yarder, the game breaker. Tell us about what happened on that play.
I just running outside, and then I seen the corner come up, so I cut it back across field, and I seen the opening, so I just took it.
He's running that option like it was invented for him, Larry.
Yeah, last year, Mike DiMarino became a football player at the Paulsboro game, and I think this year Dwayne became a football player at the Paulsboro game. So I think they're going to be seeing a lot of Dwayne Stanton this rest of the year.
Jimmer, I remember Touchdown Club on Monday night. You were kind of waving playfully at the Paulsboro guys. You looked like you were ready for him then.
Yeah, I really wasn't waving. I was holding my hand up, showing them that they was going to lose, giving them that L. And I knew we was going to come out hitting, popping. We just had to get it together.
Jimmer, 3, 4, 5 guys hitting you in every play through the first 3 games, but you kind of like that, don't you?
Yeah, I love the contact. It don't bother me none, as long as everybody else can run free.
Dwayne, what about this team? Last year's Woodbury team had an outstanding year, but you guys seem to be in gear to have it going again this season.
It's going to be just as good as last year, maybe better. Just keep doing what we're doing. We're going to keep winning.
Larry, you're happy with the development of this team. Of course, 3-0 you're happy with, but how about other aspects of the team? Are you pleased with the way things are going?
Oh, great attitude, great team. What we were concerned about, of course, is the youth, but these kids are active and they want to play and they want to win and they work hard and they practice hard and they're just a great bunch of kids. Just great.
What goals do you have this year, Jimmer?
State championship.
All right.
That's it. State championship.
Okay, guys, congratulations on a great win, 35-0, Larry. And if I had told you this morning when I got here it'd be 35-0, what would you have said?
I said, I'll take it.
Okay, Mike.
And take it he will, 35-0. Actually, a pretty good football game in the first half, and a safety, 2-0. Woodbury goes on top with 8:30 left to play in the half. Up to that point, it was pretty even in the contest, being ruled by the defenses. And then the big 45-yard touchdown run by Stanton, and they went up at the end of the half. They were leading 14-0, but in a 1 minute and 17-second explosion in the fourth quarter with 2 interceptions following a touchdown run by Bundy, the game just ended for Paulsboro. No chance at all. Woodbury having a great day, and they really enjoyed it. They get the victory and remain 3-0. Paulsboro falls to 2-1. Final score: Woodbury 35 and Paulsboro nothing. Today's game has been brought to you by the Gloucester County Times. The Times, bringing you the best in sports coverage of both high school and college football. Also brought to you today by McDonald's Restaurant of Woodbury Heights and Paulsboro. For good times and great taste, it's McDonald's. And by Professional Pulmonary Service in Woodbury, providing Gloucester County with the best in home health care equipment. Now for Bob Schrack and Channel 5, I'm Mike Linder. Thanks for joining us today. We'll look for you next time.